the family checked into the Crescent Hotel during the holidays. During the day, her brother took what seemed like an ordinary photograph, but later discovered something in it. One important detail cannot be ignored. The Crescent is an old hotel with a dark reputation. For years, it has been considered one of the most haunted locations in the United States. When the photo was reviewed, a chilling face appeared in the frame. It did not belong to any family member. No stranger had been nearby, and yet it was there. The expression is unsettling, pale, watchful, and out of place. The longer it is observed, the harder it becomes to dismiss. Coincidence? A reflection? Or did something else step into the lens that day? The owner of this photograph found it in his grandmother's old albums. At first, it appeared completely normal. It showed his grandmother as a child, standing beside her brother. But after looking more closely, he noticed something chilling. Next to them, a faint ghostly face seemed to hover, and near the bottom of the frame, there appeared to be the barely visible outline of a body. The figure does not match anyone known in the family. Its presence feels intrusive, as if it had slipped into the moment unnoticed. When he showed the photograph to his grandmother, her reaction was immediate. She demanded that it be removed from the house. Why did she react so strongly? What did she see that frightened her so deeply? The young woman took a photograph in an elevator. Later, while reviewing the images at home, she noticed something horrifying. In the reflection, a disturbing boy appeared behind her. His face looked wrong, as if hollow where the eyes should be. His mouth seemed open, frozen in a silent scream. The image feels intense and immediate, as though the moment captured something raw and painful. To say she was frightened would be an understatement. The photograph left her with a lingering sense of genuine terror. Who was reflected in that elevator? He previously worked at this warehouse, a place rumored to have once been home to a little girl. Strange incidents happened there regularly. Objects would move on their own. One night during his shift, boxes began falling from the shelves without warning. In that moment, he took a photograph. Only later did he notice a gray figure hidden among the racks. It blends into the background, yet its shape is unmistakably human. After seeing that image, his doubts nearly disappeared. Was the warehouse truly empty, or had something been there all along? What do you think? Oriana Suarez decided to publish this photograph only 12 years after it was taken. Even back then, she noticed a strange shadow behind her, and it was not her own. The shape does not match her posture or the direction of the light. It stands slightly apart, as if detached, almost separate from her presence. For years, fear prevented her from showing the image to anyone. Something about it felt wrong, as though revealing it might invite attention she did not want. Even now, after more than a decade, Oriana admits that the photograph still unsettles her. The shadow appears too deliberate, too solid to be dismissed as a random distortion. Was someone, or something, standing behind her? What was it? Share your thoughts. The young woman was simply taking a selfie. She didn't notice anything strange at first. Later, while scrolling through her gallery, her eyes caught something unusual inside the closet. When she zoomed in, it looked like a face, barely visible, hidden among the shadows. No light in the room could have created such a shape. And yet, when she turned to look at the closet, it was completely empty. To this day, she has no idea what she encountered. What do you think was hiding there? A woman explained that this photograph was taken several years ago and later uploaded to social media by one of her relatives. She was the first to notice something disturbing in the image. She emphasizes that her uncle does not know how to use Photoshop. Even if he did, he would never alter an important family photo as a joke. The image is completely original. Between the two girls in the photo, a terrifying face can be seen, twisted, disfigured, and clearly watching what is happening. What do you think was captured in this picture? This photograph was taken on a farm. On the right side of the image, a small ghost-like figure can be seen standing near the ground. According to the family who lived there, the great-grandmother had always claimed she could see this spirit around the property. Despite its strange presence, the figure never caused harm. Over time it became almost a familiar presence on the farm, mysterious, but strangely accepted as part of the land. For generations, the story remained within the family. Who, or what, was quietly appearing in their photographs? This photograph was taken near Albany, New York, during Easter weekend. Inside the house, no one smoked. However, when the photo was taken, a strange anomaly appeared in the image. The shape looks like a thin, twisting form floating in the air, something that resembles smoke, yet does not behave like it. No one in the room noticed anything unusual at the moment the picture was taken. Even today, the origin of the strange shape remains unknown. What appeared in that quiet house? The owner of this photograph said the image was sent to him by a friend who was deeply disturbed by what he saw. In the photo, a door behind two girls is slightly open. At first glance, the image looks completely normal. But when the picture is examined more closely, something unsettling becomes visible in the doorway. A strange face appears in the darkness behind the girls. The expression looks unnatural, almost as if something is silently standing there and watching them. The shape of the face seems distorted, its features barely visible in the shadows. It gives the disturbing impression that something was hiding behind the door at the exact moment the photo was taken. What was standing behind them? These two photographs were taken only seconds apart. One was taken with a flash, the other without. In the darker image, a strange figure appears standing near the closet door. The shape resembles a woman. In the brighter photo, the same figure can still be seen, although less clearly. The presence looks almost solid, as if someone invisible had been standing there the entire time. Neither person remembers anyone else being in the room. So who was standing beside the closet? This photograph was taken in Brittany, France, near the photographer's home, at the end of December. On the right side of the image, a strange form can be seen. The shape resembles something almost human, something faint and ghost-like. The weather that day was windy, but there was no fog or mist that could explain the appearance. Behind the person in the photograph stands a menhir, an ancient standing stone often associated with prehistoric rituals. The image was later sent for analysis. So far, no one has been able to explain the mysterious figure. What do you think appeared in the photograph? This photograph was taken in a cemetery in New Mexico. Later, the author admitted feeling deeply disturbed by what appeared in the frame. At first, he had only been taking ordinary photos. He had previously captured light orbs before, those small glowing spots that sometimes appear in pictures. But this image felt different. According to both the author and many viewers, Deep in the background, a female figure seems to appear. The silhouette looks dark and slightly blurred, but clear enough to resemble a person standing among the gravestones. That detail is exactly what sparked discussion. Some believe it is simply lighting, shadows cast by headstones, or a camera effect caused by nighttime conditions. Others believe it may be an accidentally captured ghost in an old cemetery. Who was standing among those graves? Write your thoughts in the comments.
During a wedding in Toowoomba, Australia, ghost hunters captured this haunting image, a husband and wife sharing their first dance. The room glows with joy and light, but just to the right of the couple, in a soft beam of light, stands a small girl. Her form is faint, but her face is clear, curious, almost smiling, as if she wants to join in. No one remembered a child being there. No guests were nearby when the picture was taken. Some say she's the spirit of a young girl who once lived on the land where the venue now stands. It's one of the few ghost photos that seems innocent, almost sweet, but no one can be sure. What do you think? A lost child spirit, or just a trick of the camera?
The owner of this photo explained that his parents have been living in this house for around 15 years, and throughout that time they have repeatedly noticed strange things happening inside. According to them, footsteps are often heard on the second floor, especially near the bedroom and bathroom. The sounds happen during the day and at night, even when nobody is upstairs. At first, the family even joked about it, saying things like, "Someone must be heading to the bathroom again." But one day, the situation felt different. At that moment, the entire family was downstairs. No one was upstairs. Yet once again, the sound of footsteps could clearly be heard overhead. At the exact same time, a motion-activated camera installed in the bedroom sent a notification and captured a photo. According to the family, that was when a strange figure appeared in the image. The author adds that the house itself is not old. It was built in 1998, and only one other family had lived there before them. Neighbors once mentioned that an elderly woman used to live in the home, though no one knows for certain whether she passed away there. Because of the repeated footsteps and the figure captured by the camera, the family now believes something unexplained may be happening inside the house, even though they have no evidence beyond these disturbing incidents. What was walking upstairs? Write your thoughts in the comments.
An old, faded photograph discovered in a grandmother's house shows a small church from decades ago. Its windows reflect the cloudy sky, except one. In that window stands a man, but no one remembers him ever being there. Was he the minister who once served in that church, or a spirit bound to the place where he preached long ago? The photo remains a mystery, a moment frozen between time and eternity. What do you think? A living man, or a glimpse into the past that refused to fade?
A firefighter was left confused after noticing mysterious figures visible simultaneously in both the driver's and passenger's seats of a vehicle. The most unsettling detail: the car was completely empty. There were no bodies inside, no reflections from nearby people, yet the shapes remained clearly visible in the photograph, occupying both seats as if someone had been sitting there moments before. The figures appear solid enough to cast subtle shadows, creating a chilling sense of presence. If no one was inside the car, then who was sitting there? What do you think? At first glance, this photograph seems ordinary, but if observed carefully, a hand can be seen, one that has no logical explanation. The most disturbing detail: The picture was taken during a farewell ceremony in a funeral hall. The hand appears near the young woman, as if reaching out gently. There is no visible body attached to it. No person standing close enough to explain its presence. It creates the unsettling impression that a relative wanted one last embrace, leaving behind a trace on the photograph. Was it simply a trick of perspective, or a final goodbye? Write your opinion in the comments. A curious image of a woman was captured by paranormal investigator Philip Barron during a night tour of the abandoned Newsham Park Asylum. At first glance, the photograph appears normal and professionally taken. However, none of the tour participants recall ever seeing this woman. The most disturbing part, the figure appears with striking clarity, as though she had truly been there, silently observing the group while remaining unnoticed. Her posture seems deliberate. Her presence feels intentional. Who was she, and why did no one see her? During a live stream, two cousins received a disturbing comment from a viewer claiming that someone could be seen standing behind them. That was impossible. They were alone in the room. They immediately turned around. Nothing was there. Later, while reviewing the recording, they noticed a strange detail. On the footage, someone was indeed visible behind them. The figure appears only briefly, partially obscured, but undeniably present. If no one else was in the room, who appeared on camera? While walking through a cemetery in New York State, a man took a photograph that initially seemed unremarkable. But upon closer inspection, disturbing details emerged within the frame. A silhouette resembling an angel, or perhaps a winged entity, appeared in the image. Nearby, the faint outline of a skull could also be seen. The longer he stared at the photograph, the clearer the shapes became, as though they were revealing themselves slowly. Realizing that what he captured might be more than light and shadow, he decided to share the image with others, allowing them to examine what might be hidden within it. Was it merely pareidolia, or something standing among the graves? What do you see? Write in the comments. On that day, two friends were alone at one of their homes. They were certain no one else was there. Yet in the photograph taken that evening, another girl can be seen behind them. She appears partially visible, just enough to recognize a feminine figure standing close, watching. Only a fragment of her shape is captured, but it is enough to send a chill down the spine. If they were truly alone, who was standing with them? What was it? This photo was taken shortly after the photographer claimed to feel a strange presence nearby. The owner of the location says that voices are regularly heard inside the building, despite no obvious source. He also claims objects sometimes fall or move on their own. At the moment this image was taken, only one person was on the property. That is why the photograph disturbed him. In the frame, according to the owner, a strange figure can be seen, something he does not believe can be explained by the presence of another person. Because no other witnesses were nearby, the author considers this image possible evidence that something unusual may be happening in the building. What was standing there unseen? Write your thoughts in the comments. The owner says this photo was taken in June 2007, when his wife photographed their son playing. Later, while reviewing the image, they noticed a strange detail. Behind the boy's right shoulder, what looks like a little girl can be seen, as if playing with toys. The man brought the photo to work, and several people immediately recognized the girl as a child who had died in a tragic school bus accident near their home. When the boy saw the photo, he calmly said she was his friend. But later, his behavior changed. For unknown reasons, he began to fear her and refused to enter his bedroom. The family eventually moved to another town for unrelated reasons. To this day, the father shows the photo to skeptics, watching as they struggle to explain what the camera captured. Who do you think was playing behind the boy? Write in the comments. In one episode of the TV show Ghost Adventures, viewers noticed a strange detail that nobody on the crew saw during filming. The moment lasts only a few seconds. The team is standing in a kitchen inside a house in Reseda, and everything appears normal for an investigation. But after rewatching the footage, fans noticed what looked like a face appearing above the host's shoulder, reflected against the refrigerator. At first, it barely stands out. It looks like a shadow or some kind of image defect. But when the frame is paused, features resembling a human face become visible, as if someone, or something, was silently watching from deep within the shot. Later, the clip sparked endless debate. Some believe it was nothing more than an optical illusion or strange lighting. Others call it one of the creepiest accidental moments ever captured on the show, a detail nobody noticed until it was already too late. What was it? Let everyone know in the comments. After an evening walk near the forest, a group of friends decided to take one last photo before heading home. They stood smiling in front of the trees, unaware that something else was standing behind them. Only later, at home, did they notice the terrifying detail. Between the dark trunks, a blurred shape appeared, tall, vaguely human, with two faintly glowing eyes staring straight at the camera. None of them remember seeing anyone there. The figure's outline is distorted, like a shadow that doesn't belong to anyone. Some who've seen the image say it feels as if the forest itself is alive, watching, breathing, hiding something old and hungry among the trees. What do you think those glowing eyes belong to? This old photograph shows a man standing with his son. Years later, while reviewing family photos, he noticed something disturbing, a dark hand-shaped form resting on his back. He insists it could not be the child's hand. That day, they were completely alone. This single unexplained detail turned an ordinary family memory into a chilling mystery, hinting at an unseen presence. Whose hand do you think that was? Share your thoughts. In this photograph, Sally Watts is handing her daughter Grace a birthday cake for her 10th birthday. Another daughter, Charlotte, stands nearby taking the picture. At first, it looks like a perfectly normal family moment. Later, while looking through the photos together, Sally noticed something unusual in the mirror behind her. Reflected in the glass was the image of another child. At first she assumed it must have been her son, but when she looked more closely, she realized that her son was already visible in the photograph, sitting on his sister's lap. The reflected face did not belong to anyone in the family. The discovery left an unsettling question behind. Who was the child appearing in the mirror behind them? Could it have been a ghost? This photograph was taken in Gettysburg, a place known for its long and tragic history. In the image, a strange silhouette appears in the distance. The shape is so clear that it is difficult to dismiss as coincidence. According to the owner of the photo, the figure looks like a ghost, perhaps a soldier who never left the battlefield where the war once raged. The silhouette stands quietly among the grass and ruins, like a silent witness from the past. Gettysburg is known for many stories about unexplained sightings. Could this photograph have captured one of those lingering spirits? A young woman shared this photograph online because she could not explain what appeared in it. That evening she had been at home with her boyfriend. The two of them were sitting together on the couch and decided to take a simple selfie with a phone. Nothing unusual was happening in the room. But when they looked at the photo afterward, they noticed something disturbing. Between them and the image stands a dark figure. The shape appears tall and narrow, almost like a shadowy silhouette with no visible face or features. Yet at the moment the photo was taken, no one had been standing there. The room contained only the two of them. So who, or what, appeared between them? This photograph had been stored in a family album for many years. In the image appears a great-great-grandfather, along with his family and several friends. The photo was taken in a small village where they once lived. Years later, the village slowly became abandoned. People began moving away, and some residents died under strange circumstances. Older locals later spoke about frightening things that had happened there at night. Stories spread about a dark presence that supposedly wandered through the village. According to the rumors, it sometimes approached homes where children lived. Some children, people whispered, simply never woke up in the morning. Doctors at the time blamed illness, poor health, and the difficult living conditions. But villagers believed something far darker was responsible. They claimed to have seen a tall dark silhouette moving silently between houses at night. When the photograph was recently examined again, something unusual appeared. A large dark shape can clearly be seen in the background, a figure that does not seem to belong to the group in the photo. Perhaps it is only a shadow, a flaw in the old film, or a trick of light. But knowing the stories from that village raises an unsettling possibility. What if the photograph accidentally captured the very thing people once feared? A man named John explained that this image was captured in his home between 2:30 and 4 p.m. using a webcam. He claims it is only one of many unusual recordings taken inside the house. A medium once told him that he is a magnet for spirits, and John believes he regularly communicates with a spiritual guide. He is unsure whether the figure in the photo is that same presence. He cannot tell if it is male or female, or if it is wearing glasses. As on most nights, John set up the webcam and went to sleep. Typically, he only records light anomalies or electronic voices. This time, however, a misty humanoid shape appeared. To see it clearly, he had to slow the footage and center the frame. John says voices are sometimes heard in the house. Doors slam violently at night. His dog refuses to sleep downstairs, clawing and biting at the kitchen door to escape. When electrical disturbances occur, voices can be heard, the dog becomes agitated, and footsteps and bell sounds echo through the home. He claims he is often called by name. In a single night, John says he may capture anywhere from 5 to 15 light anomalies, along with unexplained sounds. What do you think is following him? One day, a father was taking random photos inside Ford's theater, simply capturing different objects around the building. He later insisted that no one had been standing nearby when the photo was taken. Yet in the image, a strange figure appears in the background. The shape resembles the ghostly outline of a soldier holding a weapon, standing silently as if frozen in time. The figure does not look like a person walking through the frame, nor like a simple lighting artifact. It stands in a way that feels almost deliberate, like a silent observer from another time. Could it be a trick of light, or something far stranger? What do you think? A woman later shared that her godson had sent her this photograph. The image had been captured by a security camera. Behind the window of the house, a pale figure can clearly be seen standing outside, almost as if someone was watching from the darkness. What makes the image especially disturbing is that at that time, the homeowners were away. The house was supposed to be completely empty. No one should have been anywhere near the building. Was it simply a camera malfunction, or something waiting outside the house? This location had already gained a reputation for strange stories. Some people reported hearing unexplained noises, feeling sudden waves of anxiety, and noticing objects moving without explanation. Because of these events, the owners decided to document what was happening. They set up a camera designed to take static photos. In one of the images, something unusual appeared, a faint shape that looked like the beginning of a form. It was as if something invisible was slowly taking shape inside the room. What exactly was starting to appear in that photograph? The owner of this photo claims it was taken in 2017 using a PS Vita device. Since that day, the image has continued to disturb him. On the right side of the photograph, on the bed, it appears that someone is sitting there. The shape resembles the outline of a person, pale and barely visible. The problem is simple. At the time the photo was taken, he had been completely alone in the room. Years have passed, but one question still remains unanswered. Who, or what, was sitting beside him? The photograph was taken last spring in Castle Rock State Park in California. The day was cloudy, perfect conditions for photography. Later that evening, the couple looked through their photos at home. That's when the woman noticed something strange at the far end of the trail. They zoomed in. A distant human-like figure stood at the end of the path, motionless and unsettling. A chill ran down their spines. The computer was closed immediately. They never finished looking through the rest of the pictures. Who, or what, was standing on that empty trail? A man claimed that the ghost in this photo belongs to an 8-year-old boy who died in a fire. One night, he noticed the boy's intense stare, sudden, piercing, and took a photograph. Looking closely at the top and sides of the head, faint strands of hair can be seen, glowing slightly even though they should have burned away. One of the boy's eyes was damaged by the fire, and one ear had also been injured. The man recognized him instantly and believed it was truly that child. The photo has an orange tone because it was taken without flash. He simply wanted to show his mother how unexpectedly clear images could sometimes appear in the dark. Later the boy appeared once more. He approached the window on the lower floor, looked inside, and smiled. At that moment the man began to pray. Since that night, the boy has never appeared again. What do you think hovered in the darkness? One evening, a man stepped outside to photograph the sky. A rare aurora had appeared over the city. When he returned home and began reviewing the images, he noticed something impossible. On one of the pictures, a face was clearly visible. He emphasized that the flash was off. There were no reflective surfaces nearby, and the camera couldn't create such an effect by itself. "It's the craziest thing I've ever seen," he said. "If you look closely near the forest line on the left, a grayish face seems to emerge from the darkness. Light trick or camera glitch, or a real spirit slipping into the frame. What do you think appeared beneath the aurora? Share your theories below." This photo was taken during a child's birthday party in Louisville, Kentucky, inside a historic building in the city center. While reviewing the pictures later, the photographer spotted something strange, a figure standing in one of the hallways, eerily resembling a soldier. He seemed to be watching the celebration from the shadows, frozen in place, belonging neither to that time nor to that room. What do you think they captured? The man shared that his sister took this photograph just days after her old dog, Cody, passed away. In the picture, their current dog seems to be staring at something beside him, at a strange anomaly that appeared out of nowhere. His sister is convinced it was Cody coming to say goodbye. She recalls that in that moment the dog suddenly lifted his head, froze, and began softly whimpering as if recognizing someone familiar. They examined the picture dozens of times, and the longer one looks at it, the more the outline seems to resemble a dog's face. Could Cody have returned for one last visit? Share your thoughts. The owner explained that this photo was taken near the Jenny Wade house, the home of the only civilian killed during the Battle of Gettysburg. Early in the morning, as fighting raged outside, bullets tore through the house's walls. One bullet flew through the door around 8 a.m., striking Jenny fatally as she baked bread. The house, with the bullet holes still preserved, is now a museum. Years later, the photographer took a picture near the side door using an old Android phone. His young son was peeking through one of the bullet holes, but when he reviewed the photo, he saw something beside the boy, a dark figure passing by. The contours of a face were too clear to dismiss as light or shadow. It seems the Jenny Wade house still holds its unseen witnesses. Who do you think walked past the doorway? Behind this photograph lies a story he still remembers only in fragments. At the time, he was around 6 to 8 years old. On certain nights, his mother would say the house felt heavy, suffocating, as if the air itself had thickened. It was during those nights that the child would wake up crying and screaming, repeating that a boy wanted to play with him. He would shout as if in a trance, staring at a single fixed point in the room, unmoving, repeating the same words over and over again. His family would place a scapular and a cross on him, whisper prayers until, little by little, he calmed down and fell asleep. The strangest part, by morning, he remembered nothing. These episodes stopped only after a visit to a specialist who performed herbal cleansing rituals in the home. Years later, while looking at this photograph, he noticed a face reflected in the television screen. According to him, that was the boy he used to speak with. The photo is still somewhere in his possession. He has lost it many times over the years, yet somehow, it always finds its way back. Was it imagination, or something that never truly left? What was it? Write in the comments. The young woman took a photo with a child, expecting nothing unusual. But in the image behind them, a blurred figure appeared, shaped like a small child, almost translucent. She felt immediate unease. That evening, there had been no other children nearby, no neighbors, no one passing by. The figure in the photo looks too defined to be dismissed as a random blur, yet too unnatural to belong to someone physically present. Who was standing behind them? What do you see? Share your thoughts. The author of these photographs shared a story connected to purchasing an old vehicle. In October of last year, he bought a 1979 Ford truck from an elderly woman. Sometime later, a security camera in his yard captured something unusual. On the front seat of the truck, it looked as though someone was sitting there. He immediately went outside with a flashlight to check. The interior was empty, yet his wife insisted that on the camera screen, the silhouette was still visible. The images were taken just before he stepped outside. 2 days later, he showed the photographs to the truck's former owner. After looking at them, the woman said the figure was her husband, who had passed away some time ago. According to her, it had been his favorite vehicle, and she recognized him in the image. The story shook the new owner so deeply that within days, he sold the truck. Being near it felt unbearable. Was it grief manifesting, or something that refused to let go? The young man posted a photo on Instagram, unaware it would soon become a source of fear. Everything changed when one follower noticed a strange detail in the background. "Who is that?" someone asked. At first, he saw nothing unusual. But after zooming in, a cold sensation ran down his spine. "Do you see the person in the hallway?" Another message appeared in a private story he had shared only with close friends. He examined every corner of the image, and realized the horrifying truth. There was indeed someone standing in the corridor, but that was impossible. At that moment, he had been completely alone, except for his pet. Even after the screen went dark, the feeling of being watched lingered. Who was standing in that hallway? In Thailand, in the city of Dao, reporters and investigators were stunned by a photograph taken at the scene of a murder. In the image, many people believe they can see something extraordinary. What appears to be a faint human form seems to be rising from the victim's body. A thin, pale strand seems to connect the shape to the body below, as if something is slowly separating from it. Investigators later admitted that in all their years of working with crime scenes and deaths, they had never encountered anything like this. The photograph quickly spread through the village. Many residents began to believe it truly captured the moment a spirit was leaving the body. Was it an illusion, or something captured at the exact moment between life and death? According to the author, his mother moved into an old house several years ago. The previous owner had been an elderly school teacher who had passed away. Soon after moving in, strange things began to happen. Whenever dogs were brought into the house, they would freeze at a specific spot, the exact place shown in the photograph, and begin barking uncontrollably. Objects sometimes seemed to change position on their own. Months later, after a cat appeared in the house, the strange activity seemed to increase. When the homeowner left for vacation, a security camera was installed. That camera eventually captured the photograph that still has no explanation. What exactly was moving inside that house? This photograph is more than 100 years old. The scene clearly shows signs of a violent struggle. It is believed that the woman in the image had been murdered, possibly during a robbery. But the most disturbing detail is the strange mist rising from her body. The shape almost resembles a human form, as if something was leaving the body at the moment the photograph was taken. A chilling image frozen in time. Could it be the moment a soul departed? The author admits that many people might not believe his story. A few days earlier, around midnight, he had been walking to a nearby store. The neighborhood is usually quiet at that hour, but that night felt different. Suddenly, he had the overwhelming feeling that someone was watching him. The fear became so strong that he pulled out his phone and started recording. At the time, he noticed nothing unusual. But later, while reviewing the footage, a figure appeared in the frame. It looked vaguely human, extremely thin and barely visible, as if it existed only halfway in the world. The feeling of someone standing just inches away suddenly made terrifying sense. What was following him that night? a resident of Southern California, recalls that about 15 years ago her daughter took this photograph. At that time, the young girl often said that another girl was watching her, a girl who seemed to be asking for help. Strange noises were constantly heard throughout the house. Even now, years later, the woman still cannot explain what happened during that time or why they stayed in that house for so long. Who was the girl her daughter claimed to see? This event happened almost 3 years ago. The author of the story said he hesitated for a long time before sharing what happened. One night he was talking with a friend on FaceTime. During the call, he eventually fell asleep. The next morning, when they met in person, his friend asked a strange question. Where had he gone during the night? The author was confused. He was certain he had slept the entire time. But his friend insisted that during the call he had seen him walking around the house. To prove it, the friend explained that he had taken several live photos during the call using an iPhone. When they reviewed the images, something disturbing appeared. A strange shape resembling a face could be seen in the frame. The discovery frightened both of them. Later they returned to the house and searched for anything that could explain the shape, furniture, reflections, objects, but nothing matched the figure captured in the images. Unfortunately, only a screenshot remains today. The original live photo was lost. In the first image, the original photo is shown. In the second image, the author enhanced the details to make the shape more visible. To this day, the event remains completely unexplained. What appeared in that FaceTime call? Late one night, around 2:45 a.m., a man returned home after being involved in a crash where he had wrecked his truck. A photograph of the damaged vehicle was taken that night. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual about the image. It simply showed the truck after the accident. The next evening, the man sent the photo to a friend. That's when something strange was noticed. Attention quickly turned to the passenger seat. When the image was zoomed in, the faint outline of a face could be seen inside the vehicle. Next to it, a shape resembling a hand appeared to be gripping something that looked like a revolver. The man is certain that there was no snow, wind, or debris that night that could have created such a shape. Now the photograph feels less like a random accident and more like a disturbing reminder. A reminder that perhaps something else came back with him that night. What do you see in the passenger seat? The owner of this series of photographs explained that a friend had sent them to him. According to the story, the images show a patient participating in an overnight sleep study. The clinic where the research took place remains unknown. The patient was under constant video monitoring so doctors could carefully study his sleep patterns. But something unusual appeared in the images. A strange anomaly can be seen in the room. At first it seems to stand near the bed, almost as if observing the sleeping patient. Then, in the following frames, the shape appears to move closer. Eventually, it looks as though the dark shape merges with the patient's body. The person who received the photos admitted that the images left him completely confused. What exactly entered the room that night? In 2002, a mother took a photo of her young daughter inside their home. At the moment the picture was taken, the girl's father was holding her hand. No one else was inside the house. But later, when the family looked at the photograph, they noticed something chilling. In the upper right corner of the image, a faint ghostly figure appears. The family eventually wondered if it could be the spirit of the man who originally built the house and had lived there for most of his life. However, they never tried to confirm it. After seeing the strange silhouette appearing so close to their daughter in the photograph, the family made a quick decision. They put the house up for sale and moved away soon after. Who, or what, was standing in the room with them? According to the owner, strange things had been happening inside the house that day. Later, while reviewing the photo, he noticed something unusual. In the image, a blurred figure can be seen without any clear outline, almost like a shape formed entirely from shadow within the room. It has no recognizable facial features or body details, yet visually stands apart from everything else in the frame. Its presence feels unnatural, as though something extra was captured there. The owner is convinced no one could have been inside the room at the time. Skeptics, however, suggest it may simply be camera noise, poor lighting, or digital distortion often caused by night mode photography. But what exactly was captured? Write your thoughts in the comments.
Hospitals are unsettling places at night, filled with echoes and dim, endless corridors. This photo was taken at Leeds General Infirmary by Andrew Milburn, a man who never believed in ghosts. One evening, he snapped a quick picture in a hallway to show his girlfriend where he was working. Nothing strange about that, but when he looked closer, his blood ran cold. In the photo, a faint white figure appears, a nurse, or perhaps a child, rushing into a room at the end of the corridor. No one else was in the hospital wing that night. No alarms, no movement detected. Just silence. Andrew's skepticism vanished after that. He'd seen the impossible. What do you think? The ghost of a former patient, or a trick of the light?
That evening, children were simply having fun near a swimming pool, recording everything on camera like any normal summer night. Nothing strange happened, and nobody expected anything unusual. Later, back at home, they excitedly began showing the photos to their parents. At first, everything looked ordinary: laughter, splashing water, darkening skies, and an empty pool area. But in one image, adults noticed something the children had completely missed. At the far edge of the pool sat a figure. It looked motionless, too clear and defined to feel like a shadow or accidental blur. And the family knew one thing for certain: there had only been 3 children present, and one of them had been holding the camera. Nobody else should have been there. That was what disturbed them most. The figure looked strangely real, as though someone had been silently sitting nearby, watching everything unfold from the darkness. Who do you think was sitting by the pool? Let everyone know in the comments. The boy in this photo chose to tell his story only many years later. As a child, he often saw strange entities in the house but stayed silent. Fear kept him quiet. He was afraid no one would believe him. Nearly 20 years passed before he looked again at an old childhood photo and realized the proof had been there all along. In the picture, beside him and his mother, a dark figure can be seen. It stands out ominously against the room, almost as if it is staring directly at them. He believes this was the same presence that followed him throughout his childhood. Even now, as an adult, he admits he still cannot return to that house and stay there alone. What do you think was standing beside them? Share your thoughts in the comments. In 2015, a visitor to the Frida Kahlo Museum took a photograph near her vanity table, the very place where, according to legend, her ashes and personal belongings are kept. At first, the image seems ordinary: a mirror, small figurines, and the reflection of a woman. But upon closer inspection, something appears behind her in the mirror. A presence stands there, watching, waiting. No one noticed it at the moment the photo was taken. Only later, while examining the image, did the question arise: who is that? A shadow from the past? A visitor from another world? Or Frida herself, guarding her space? What do you think appeared in the mirror? Stacy Alexander took this photograph more than 20 years ago. The image shows her young son standing in a playpen, a moment any mother might capture. That day, Stacy was home alone with her child. Even then, she felt an uneasy sensation, as if someone was watching her every move. Later, while reviewing the photo, her heart dropped. Behind her son, on the left side, a distorted face is clearly visible, hiding in the shadows, watching the child. Whether ghost or light distortion, one thing is certain: after that image, Stacy became convinced she was never truly alone in the house. What do you think was watching her son? Eugenia Tobel still cannot fully recover from what happened. The actress admits that since that night, the unsettling thought has not left her, the feeling that something otherworldly may be watching her. In one interview, Eugenia described a disturbing incident that occurred during a casual dinner with friends. At some point, they decided to take a group photo and asked the husband of one of the women to take the picture. Nothing seemed unusual at the moment. The first photo was taken without flash. The image turned out blurry, but that was when they noticed something terrifying. A face appeared behind them, a face that had not been present in the room. Alarmed, they decided to take another photo, this time with flash. On the second image, nothing strange appeared at all. According to Eugenia, they were sitting on the ground floor, directly in front of a window facing the street. Outside, it was completely dark, and the curtain covered the glass only partially. She insists the photo is authentic and has never been edited. That single image continues to haunt her, leaving behind the unsettling feeling that something unseen briefly revealed itself, and may still be near. What do you think appeared behind them? This photograph caused anxiety among many parents. It was taken near a lake, showing several children standing together, unaware of anything unusual. But behind them, viewers noticed what appears to be a vague facial silhouette emerging from the background. Some believe it could be the spirit of a deceased relative, or even something darker, silently watching the children. Others argue that the image is nothing more than pareidolia, a psychological effect in which the brain recognizes familiar shapes in random patterns, such as reflections in water, shadows, or foliage. Still, the image remains deeply unsettling. Whether illusion or something more, the idea that a face seems to be forming behind the children continues to disturb those who see it. What do you believe this image shows? Share your opinion. A woman discovered this photograph after purchasing an old house. While sorting through items left in the attic, she found an old photograph that had turned yellow with age. In the image stands a woman with 4 small girls beside her. On the back of the photograph was a neat handwritten note, "Me and my 4 children." The new homeowner remembered that the previous owner of the house had indeed raised 4 daughters. But something about the photo seemed strange. Next to the family stood another figure. The shape was blurred, almost transparent, with no clear facial features. Yet it was clearly standing beside the children. By that time, the former owner of the house had already passed away. So the woman decided to call one of her daughters. The daughter confirmed that the photo was real and that it did show her mother and the 4 girls as children. But when asked about the extra figure in the photo, she gave no explanation. To this day, the woman still keeps the photograph. Sometimes she takes it out and studies the strange silhouette standing beside the children. A figure that no one has ever been able to explain. Who was the 5th child in the photo? Write your thoughts in the comments. This photograph was taken during the holidays at a hostel in New York City. Travelers from different countries had gathered in the room, talking, laughing, and enjoying themselves. At one point, the guests began tossing a baseball around, and the camera captured one of the participants in the middle of the fun. At first glance, the image appears completely normal. However, later the owner noticed a strange detail that made him question what he was seeing. Behind him is a mysterious shadowy figure whose shape resembles a hand wrapped around his neck. The man says he felt nothing unusual at the time, no touch and no sense that anyone was standing nearby. In fact, he claims he has never experienced anything similar before or since. Of course, the strange silhouette could be explained by lighting conditions, movement, or the accidental overlap of objects in the frame. Yet even years later, the image continues to raise questions. What exactly was captured by the camera that day? An ordinary optical illusion or something that cannot be explained? What do you think? Share your theory in the comments. A man said he took this photo during a break at a nursing home that had once been an elementary school. The building is located in Wigan, United Kingdom, a place where the walls seem to remember the voices of children long gone. When he reviewed the image, his blood ran cold. In the middle of the room stood a semi-transparent figure of a small child. A clear outline, a faint glow, as if someone from another time was silently observing him. At that moment, the room had been completely empty. What do you think appeared in the room? Write in the comments. The story behind this photograph could not be traced. It was posted online, and then all information about it was deleted. The image shows a corner of a room, but upon closer inspection, a blurred silhouette can be seen, resembling a ghost or spirit. The figure appears to hover in midair, leaving a strong sense that something otherworldly was present in that space. What do you think was caught in this room? A man took a photo and only later realized what he had captured. While walking down the street in the evening, he casually raised his phone and snapped a picture, without any purpose, just to test the camera. But when he later opened the gallery, a cold sensation washed over him. Two distinct figures were clearly visible in the image. One was lying on the ground, twisted as if in pain or agony. The other stood nearby, upright and still, as if watching. It was not smoke. No one had been smoking or vaping, and the night was warm, completely free of fog. It was not a reflection, not a lens flare, and certainly not a statue. The man swore the photo had not been edited or altered in any way. That he said that people prefer not to notice things like this. It makes life easier. But if anyone doubts him, he is willing to submit the photo for analysis. Let everyone decide for themselves. What do you think was captured in this photo? A man explained that he took this photo in room 502 of Waverly Hills Sanatorium during a nighttime tour of the abandoned building. The sanatorium has long been known for its strange activity. Doors in the corridors open and close on their own, as if unseen hands still move through the halls. No one has been able to explain why. The site's history is grim. At one point, patients were forced to stay outdoors for long periods, even in winter, sleeping with windows open. Death rates were horrific. To prevent patients from seeing endless carts of bodies, administrators ordered that the deceased be removed through an underground passage. The tunnel led down the hill to a railway station and became known as the Death Tunnel. Later, the building was converted into a nursing home. The 5th floor housed mentally ill patients, isolated while awaiting transfer to specialized facilities. Nurses' quarters were also located there. One room in particular, room 502, gained a dark reputation. Several residents died there, and the space seemed saturated with lingering despair. When the man first looked at the photo, it appeared completely black, only darkness. But after increasing the brightness and contrast, something emerged from the shadows, a silhouette that had not been in the room. He took hundreds of photos that night. Only this one turned out like that. What do you think appeared in room 502? Write in the comments. The owner of this photograph shared a strange story connected to it. The picture was taken on August 9, 2011, during a nighttime Native American powwow. It was around 3 in the morning. When the photo was taken, no one had been standing behind the couple in the frame. Later, when they looked at the image, they noticed a mysterious figure behind them, a shape that seemed to appear from nowhere. According to cultural beliefs, powwows are sacred gatherings where ancestral spirits are believed to sometimes walk among the living. Because of this, the photographer believes the image may have captured a spirit who came to witness the dance. Was it just coincidence, or something far older watching from the shadows? Something strange occurred in a restaurant, something that puzzled even the most skeptical witnesses. A friend took a photograph, and when it was reviewed later, a disturbing female figure appeared at the bar counter. At first glance, it looked like a blur or someone walking past, but the shape lacks clarity and explanation. The man admitted that he and his family were deeply unsettled by the image, especially given the long-standing rumors of paranormal activity connected to the restaurant. Was this just a coincidence, or something watching from the background? What do you think appeared at the bar? The owner of this photograph took it during a guided tour of the Andrew Lowe House in Savannah, Georgia. Later, while reviewing and zooming in on the images, he noticed something unsettling reflected in a mirror. The outline of a woman's figure appeared faintly in the glass. He admitted that there were dull smudges on the mirror, but one shape stood out, too human, too specific. Although he described himself as a skeptic who avoids paranormal conclusions, the image struck him as strange enough to share. Was it just light and reflection, or something else entirely? A man was preparing to leave the house and took a quick selfie to send to his children. Minutes later, one of them replied with a disturbing message, "Dad, look at the legs behind you." When he zoomed in, he saw them, pale, semi-transparent legs standing just behind him. According to the man, no one else was home at the time. Who do you think was standing there? Write your opinion below. They visited the Unitarian Church graveyard in Todmorden, a place that feels unsettling even during the day and disturbingly alive at night. A man took several photographs of old gravestones and deep shadows between the trees. Only later did he notice something strange. One headstone bore the name Sarah Agnes, a woman who died in her 50s. Standing near that grave, a female figure appeared in the photograph, misty, pale, and unmistakably human in shape. That night, the man said, the group felt watched. Equipment reacted constantly. The air felt heavy. No one was smoking, and the night was warm. Breath vapor was impossible. Yet the mist appeared. After seeing the photo, he became certain of one thing. They were not alone in that graveyard. Who do you think appeared beside the grave? The photograph was taken inside the White Lion Hotel pub in Castleford. A young man had just bought a new phone and decided to test the camera by taking a simple photo of the room. But the result was unexpected. In the image, a human figure can clearly be seen sitting calmly at a table, as if quietly drinking a pint. The strange part is that in reality, there had been no one sitting there. To the naked eye, the seat was completely empty. The discovery shocked the author of the photo. At the same time, it fascinated him. For him, the image became another piece of possible evidence that something unexplained might exist around us. Who, or what, was sitting there that night? Write your thoughts in the comments. This photo was taken several years ago, around 3 in the morning. A man was sitting alone in his living room, quietly chatting online. The house was silent. No one else was home. Almost absent-mindedly, he took a photo. At the time, he didn't think much of it. The next day, when the image was opened and examined more carefully, something unsettling appeared. Behind him, in the background, it clearly looked as if someone was sitting there. But at that moment, the room had been completely empty. If no one was there, then who was behind him? In January 2020, Tom DeLonge published an image that he claimed was connected to an alleged extraterrestrial being reportedly encountered by George Adamski back in the 1950s. Adamski described the being as a medium-height humanoid with long blonde hair and tan skin, appearing almost completely human while somehow giving the impression that it was not from this world. Since then, the image has become the subject of countless discussions and debates. For some, it is an intriguing artifact from UFO history. For others, it is an example of how myths and interpretations gradually become accepted as evidence. As with so many stories like this, the biggest question remains unanswered. Is it evidence of an encounter with something unknown, or simply another legend? What do you think? Write your opinion in the comments. According to the family, this photograph is connected to Frank Daniel Austin, who drowned near Salt Lake Beach in California on Labor Day last year. His relatives say that just a few days after the tragedy, they noticed a strange figure in a photograph taken at the exact place where he had last been seen walking into the water. To the family, it felt like a final farewell, as though his presence had briefly returned to them through the image. According to them, the photograph was never edited or altered in any way. That is why it continues to evoke such strong emotions. Some people believe it is simply a coincidence of light and shape, while others see it as a comforting reminder that sometimes a goodbye can look like this. What do you think was captured in the picture? Share your thoughts in the comments. On a wedding day, the photographer was capturing joyful moments, unaware that one of the images would later cause deep unease. In one photograph, behind a glass door, a face appeared. Pale, empty-eyed, as if watching from another time. No one recognized it. It was later confirmed that there was no passage behind the door, only a locked balcony. The photo remains in the album as a quiet reminder. Not everything that appears in a picture belongs to this world. What do you think was watching from behind the glass? A young woman named April shared this photograph, which had been sent to her by a friend. She has no idea who, or what, might have appeared in the image. Photo shows a girl and a boy standing together, but between them is a strange gray figure, completely unlike a human being, as if it came from somewhere beyond this world. April says she cannot stop thinking about the photo. It feels as though the figure in the image is still watching them to this day. Perhaps it is not just an image, but a real presence that refuses to let go. What do you think appeared between them? Share your opinion. Amanda Pitt lives with her husband in an old Victorian house near Manchester, England. One night, around 3:40 a.m., she woke up to a disturbing sound, heavy footsteps climbing the stairs, followed by movement in the hallway. She woke her husband, but he found nothing unusual. The house was empty, or at least, It seemed that way. Amanda insists that someone entered their bedroom and stood there, completely still. She was frozen with fear. When she checked the security camera, a terrifying figure could be seen near the staircase. She immediately took a screenshot. The police found no signs of a break-in. Nothing was stolen. But the Pitt family is certain it was not a human. They say this was not their first encounter with something paranormal. Now they fear that their house is not just old, it is home to something from the other side. What do you think was standing in their home that night? Write your thoughts in the comments. In 2010, a YouTube user shared a chilling photo that, according to him, was taken by his sister during a night shift at an unknown hospital. The image quickly drew attention. Many viewers became convinced that something not of this world had been captured. The figure in the photo looks deeply unsettling, almost threatening, turning what should have been an ordinary hospital night into the scene of something unexplainable. Hospitals are places where life and death exist side by side, but was something else walking those halls that night? What do you think was caught in this hospital photo? Share your thoughts. This picture was taken in the summer of 2011 in rural Western Oregon, at a family property that had been in use since the 1970s. A man photographed two little girls playing in a creek. Only days later, when he finally sent the photo, did he notice something horrifying. In the upper left corner stood a third girl, watching them. No one present knew her. She wasn't there when the picture was taken. The image is clear. She's pale, with dark eyes, standing in the deepest part of the water. Some say the spot is cursed. Years ago, a child drowned there. The land itself seems to hold memories of that tragedy. Strange noises at night, cold spots, nightmares. What do you think? Coincidence, or a spirit tied forever to that place? A university professor once showed this strange photo displayed in one of the old campus buildings. It was originally taken at a nearby abandoned mine, long closed after several fatal accidents. The picture shows a miner posing for the camera, covered in dust. Nothing unusual at first glance. But in the background, half hidden in the darkness of the tunnel, a translucent face seems to peer out from behind the rocks. Its eyes look hollow, its mouth slightly open, as if whispering something unheard. Many believe it's the ghost of a miner who never left the depths, forever watching those who dare to enter. Others insist it's a mere trick of light. Still, the gaze in that photo feels too real, too aware. What was that face doing in the dark? A woman said this photo was taken around 2010 with her best friend. When they first looked at the pictures, they were overwhelmed with fear. In the second image, something strange can clearly be seen between them, something that does not seem to belong in this world. Even more disturbing, in the next two photos the figure seems to vanish, leaving behind only the sense that something unexplained had been there moments before. The pictures appear to have captured a moment that cannot be repeated or explained, a split second when reality brushed against something unknown. What do you think appeared between them? Share your opinion. This photo was uploaded by Jocelyn DeWalt. She says the picture was taken about 10 years ago. The little girl in the image was being babysat by her daughter's cousin, who was simply taking pictures of the child dancing when a dark figure suddenly appeared in the background. No one present noticed anything strange at the time. Only later, while reviewing the photo, did they see the silhouette, something that clearly should not have been there. Jocelyn insists the image is authentic, with no editing or filters. That is what makes the photo so disturbing. It left a heavy feeling with everyone who saw it and still raises questions that have never been answered. What do you think was standing behind the dancing child? Write your opinion in the comments. This photo sparked intense discussion online, especially among Japanese users. At first glance, it looks normal, a girl standing next to her mother. No one else was in the room. But on closer inspection, a figure appears on the right. It is not blurred or accidental. Its shape is disturbingly familiar. It looks like the girl's brother, who died tragically several years earlier. They did not notice him at the moment the photo was taken. The realization came later, when the past seemed to step back into the room and silently stand beside them. Coincidence? Or did someone find a way to return, just for a moment? What do you think appeared in this photo? Write in the comments. This photo was discovered in the memory of an old phone found near a forest trail several days after its owner vanished. In the image stands a strange pale figure with an unnaturally stretched shape, motionless in the darkness. The person who took the photo was never found. At first, investigators believed it was simply motion blur caused by camera movement. But another detail made the story far more disturbing. According to friends of the missing person, shortly before disappearing, he had repeatedly said that someone, or something, had been watching him at night. And some believe whatever appeared in that photo may have taken him. What was standing in the darkness? Let everyone know in the comments. This photo was taken during a normal nighttime drive with friends. Two girls were recording videos on a phone and noticed nothing unusual at the time. But later, after pausing the footage, something disturbing appeared between them. A pale face with closed eyes and unnaturally gray skin seemed to be sitting directly between the passengers. At first, everyone assumed it was just motion blur or a reflection in the glass. But there was one unsettling problem. Only two people had been inside the car. The mysterious figure appeared to be sitting exactly where nobody should have been. After the image was shared online, arguments quickly followed. Some insisted it was only a visual illusion caused by poor lighting and movement. Others believed the camera may have accidentally captured something that looked disturbingly close to a ghost. What do you think appeared in that car? Write in the comments. This photo of an old house in Ithaca, Michigan, carries a troubling history for the family. The home was bought by the owner's grandparents in the 1950s. Its previous owner, who had been in a psychiatric hospital, claimed a piano constantly played in the basement. In desperation, he had pounded on the basement door, leaving marks that remained for years. When this photo was taken, the house was empty. Yet in the window, two figures appear to be looking out at the photographer. Combined with other strange events in the house, the image remains one of the most unsettling reminders of its haunted past. Who do you think was watching from inside? Write in the comments. This image shows a basement where only the camera operator, two people, and a dog were present. No one else was there. Yet in the photo, a dark, blurry figure can be seen, something that should not exist in that space. It creates an uneasy feeling, like an unwanted presence watching from the shadows. It is impossible to say for sure what it is, a camera defect, a trick of light, or something paranormal. The blurred outline only deepens the sense of quiet dread. What do you think was in that basement? Share your thoughts in the comments. Dated 1999, the photo shows what appears to be a happy family, parents smiling, children laughing. But on the right side of the frame, something else can be seen. A figure, thin, distorted, with a cruel grin, seems to reach toward the little girl. The mother's eyes, too, look wrong, unnaturally closed, as if she's under some strange influence. Viewers have described the image as deeply unsettling, claiming they can sense malice in the expression of the unknown figure. Some believe it's a camera glitch. Others think the photo captured something darker, a presence trying to insert itself into the living. Could evil truly linger within a single moment, frozen forever in a family portrait?
This eerie photograph, taken in an Irish linen workshop, first appeared online in 2015 after being added to the Getty Images collection. At first glance, nothing appears strange, just a group of factory workers posing for a picture. But look closely at the woman seated furthest to the right. There's a hand resting gently on her shoulder, a hand that shouldn't be there. None of the other workers are standing near enough to place it. The angle doesn't fit anyone in the frame. It's simply there, pale, defined, human. Was it a trick of exposure, or did something unseen join the women for their portrait that day? What do you think? Coincidence, or something reaching out from beyond?
The sister of the woman in this photograph shared the image online, hoping someone could explain what appeared in it. Her sister had passed away 10 years earlier, and strangely, this photograph was taken on the very same day she died. Behind the woman in the image, a white figure can clearly be seen standing directly behind her. At the moment the photograph was taken, witnesses insist that no one else was standing nearby. The figure appears calm and still, almost protective. Some family members believe the image may show an angel. They believe it may have appeared at the exact moment her soul was being taken. Was it a coincidence, or something far more mysterious? This photograph was taken during a school trip on a bus. At first, everything appears completely normal. A group of girls is sitting in the back of the bus, with fabric covering the wall behind them. But when the image is zoomed in, something disturbing appears between them. A strange figure seems to be staring directly at the camera. Its eyes appear bright and glowing in the darkness, standing out against the shadows inside the bus. The figure is positioned perfectly between the girls, as if it had been sitting there the entire time. None of them remember anyone else being there. So who, or what, was watching from between them? This photo was taken inside her mother's house, and at first glance nothing appears unusual. But when the image is studied more carefully, a disturbing detail becomes visible. To the right of the woman's face, another face seems to appear, distorted, unnatural, and unsettling. Some viewers even described it as resembling the face of the devil. The expression appears twisted, almost as if it is staring directly at her from the darkness. What makes the image especially disturbing is that she had been completely alone in the room when the photo was taken. Since that day, the photograph has continued to trouble her. The unsettling presence in the image seems almost aware, as though something was watching through the camera lens. She eventually shared the image online, hoping others might help explain what appeared beside her. If she was alone, whose face is that? This photograph was captured on film above the valley of Glendalough in the Wicklow Mountains of Ireland. At first glance, the scene appears peaceful and breathtakingly beautiful. Rolling hills stretch beneath the sky, and soft clouds drift quietly above the valley. But the longer the image is examined, the more unsettling the feeling becomes. Something about the sky seems unusual, almost deliberate. Within the clouds, a faint silhouette appears to form the shape of an angel. The outline is delicate, nearly weightless, as if a figure has briefly emerged in the sky before fading back into the light. It almost feels as though something ancient revealed itself for only a moment, silently watching from above before disappearing again. The image leaves behind a strange emotion where beauty and mystery seem to blend together. Was it simply a natural cloud formation, or something else entirely? What do you see? Write in the comments. A couple from North Georgia left a camera recording overnight, hoping to capture possible intruders. Instead, something much stranger appeared. The image shows a small figure that seems to have wings and appears to glow in the darkness. Because of its soft glow, many people who saw the footage even suggested it might be an angel. Others are convinced it was nothing more than a lighting effect or a camera malfunction. The debate surrounding this image continues to this day. What do you think it was? Share your opinion in the comments. An ordinary family day turned into a mystery because of a single accidental photograph. A young mother was spending time with her parents and children. Nothing unusual was happening. Her child, as children often do, took dozens of random pictures. Later, the woman began reviewing them to delete the blurry and unsuccessful shots. But one image made her stop. There was something in the photograph that could not be immediately explained. The longer the family examined it, the stronger the feeling became that something extra had appeared in the image. The family's history gives the story additional meaning. The woman's great-grandmother had been the closest person in her mother's life. Even after her passing, relatives often said they could still feel her unseen presence nearby. However, this photograph seemed like something more than a memory or a coincidence. The author of the story admits that the more often she looks at the picture, the harder it becomes to believe there is an ordinary explanation for it. What do you see in this photograph? Let everyone know in the comments. This photograph was reportedly taken by a woman's 4-year-old son, although the family still is not sure how the image was actually created. The woman admitted that the picture immediately felt unsettling, especially because the silhouette looked surprisingly familiar. She even showed the image to 2 psychics, and according to her, both independently reached the same conclusion. They believed it was her late father-in-law watching over the family. After the photograph was shared online, it sparked debate. Some consider it evidence of the paranormal, while others believe it is simply a trick of light or a coincidence. Still, many agree there is something undeniably unsettling about the image. What do you think appears in this photograph? Tell everyone in the comments. A night vision camera recorded something that left parents terrified. While their child slept peacefully, a strange figure appeared beside the bed. The parents insist that no one else was in the room. The mysterious silhouette seemed to watch over the child throughout the night. Since then, they have no longer felt comfortable leaving the child alone. Was it a coincidence, a trick of the light, or something that cannot be explained? What do you think was standing beside the bed? Let everyone know in the comments. The photographer claims to have captured the ghost of a child reflected in a glass door at the famous Winchester Mystery House in 2009. The image was taken with an older Canon digital camera. According to him, the photo received the file number IMG_3666 purely by chance, which many people considered an eerie coincidence. The strangest part is that children under the age of 12 were not allowed on the tour, so the owner of the photograph is convinced that the mysterious figure could not have been the reflection of a child. What do you think appears in the reflection? Write your thoughts in the comments. A man explained that he took this photo with his phone. Right after it, he captured a second image, and the figure vanished. Later, His wife and a family friend were scrolling through pictures of the children when something strange caught their attention. It looked as if someone was standing by the table, quietly watching them. The man believes it may have been his late father, who never had the chance to meet the children while alive. On the right side of the frame, near the table, a shape is clearly visible, too defined to be a curtain or a mesh, especially since nothing like that hangs there. He insists the figure could truly be his father coming to see his family. Who do you think appeared beside the table? Share your thoughts. This happened inside a house soaked in darkness and sinister energy, a place where terrible things were once done. The basement where this picture was taken had been used for secret rituals and strange ceremonies, leaving behind a suffocating, lingering sense of fear that still clung to the walls. In the photo, a disturbing figure with a distorted silhouette and unnaturally long arms can be seen. Its gaze seems to peer straight through the viewer. It looks as though it is watching every movement, standing on the edge of the darkness, ready to lunge forward at anyone who dares to enter that room. What was hiding in the basement? A group of friends met one evening to take a group photo. They laughed, posed, and captured what seemed like an ordinary moment, just another picture for memory. But later, as one of them reviewed the photos, he noticed something unsettling. In the upper left corner appeared a face no one recognized. It did not belong to anyone present. The spot where it appeared had been completely empty. The face is pale, with dark hollow eyes and no expression. It is not blurred, not distorted. It simply stares directly into the camera, as if it knew it would be seen, as if it had been waiting for that moment. Since then, the photo has caused unease and countless questions. It doesn't look like an accident or a trick of the light. It looks like someone who was there, someone who wasn't supposed to be. What do you think this face was? A man photographed something odd in his wife's room, and in the picture, a ghostly figure of a man appears. Nothing can be confirmed with certainty, but the silhouette is unmistakable: facial features, a hat, and outlines of clothing. Some believe it may be the spirit of the room's former owner, returning briefly to see who now occupies the space that once belonged to him. What do you think this figure was? A woman shared that her late mother had always dreamed of visiting Iceland but never fulfilled that dream. Many years later, at 70, she finally traveled to the country and felt something she hadn't felt in decades, a sense that her mother was with her again. Her daughter took a photograph of her standing with her two grown granddaughters against the Icelandic landscape. But when they reviewed the photos later, the woman saw something strange. Behind her left shoulder, a shape seemed to be standing in the mist. Maybe it was just a trick of the light. Maybe motion blur from a long night exposure. But the figure was there. The woman confessed she didn't know whether it was real or simply her longing, but she believed that maybe, just maybe, her mother had finally reached Iceland together with her. What do you think appeared behind her? The disturbing detail surfaced only years later during a random look through old photographs. One image that had once seemed completely ordinary suddenly revealed something impossible to ignore. In the window, a distorted face appeared clearly against the glass. The man insists that at the moment the photo was taken, nothing and no one stood outside. The lighting was normal. The room was quiet. There had been no reflections, no strange shadows, nothing that would have drawn attention. It is as if the image waited patiently to be noticed, hiding in plain sight until the right moment. The face looks warped, almost pressed against the glass from the other side. Its features are stretched and unnatural, frozen in an expression that cannot be easily explained. Was it a trick of the light, or something that revealed itself only when it was ready? What do you think? Write in the comments. This photograph has been the author's Facebook cover photo for a long time. She first noticed a strange detail while she was tired and had been drinking a little. After seeing the background of the image, she felt uneasy and decided to wait until the next morning before looking at it again. However, the following day the image looked exactly the same. The shape in the background was still visible and continued to create a very strange impression. So much so that the author described it as something creepy, almost alien. Later, she showed the photograph to several people without telling them what had caught her attention. According to her, they also pointed out the same disturbing figure in the background. What do you think appears in this photo? Leave a comment below. This photograph was taken in the mid-2000s with a film camera. At the time, a group of teenagers was spending the evening at one of their friends' houses. One of them jokingly tried on an old military uniform that belonged to his father, and the entire photo session seemed like harmless fun. There were no decorations or objects that could explain what appeared later. No statues, no garden ornaments, and no unfamiliar objects. Just an ordinary room and a series of photographs taken one after another. However, one detail later attracted attention. The final photograph, taken only moments after the previous one, turned out to be the strangest of them all. Besides the teenager, a mysterious figure can be seen in the background, and nobody who was present during the photo session has ever been able to explain where it came from. Ever since then, the image has continued to raise questions. Was it a coincidence of light and movement, a film defect, a trick of the shadows, or something that simply went unnoticed at the time? What do you think it was? Write your answer in the comments. A friend of the author, who works as a paramedic, described an incident that happened 2 days earlier in central Kentucky. Late at night, he was inside an ambulance while it was turning around at the end of a rural road. According to him, he noticed a figure swaying in the darkness. The strangest part was that its eyes appeared to be glowing, even though there were no headlights or other light sources nearby. He managed to photograph the figure, and the image does appear to show glowing points where the eyes would be. The true cause remains unclear. It could have been an optical illusion, reflected light, camera artifacts, or a rare visual effect caused by darkness. However, to the witness, the experience seemed highly unusual and has remained difficult to explain. What do you think was standing there? Tell everyone in the comments. This photograph was taken 1 year after the author's father passed away. The image holds special emotional meaning because it is connected to a period of grief and memories of a loved one. While looking at the picture, attention is drawn to the left side of the frame, where a bright silhouette can be seen. The author believes it resembles an angel. To him, it feels as though this figure appeared in the photograph one final time, as a symbolic presence or a sign. What do you think this figure could be? Write your opinion in the comments. The author talks about a photograph she found on Facebook several years ago. It immediately caught her attention because it had been taken very close to the home where she grew up. However, the location is connected to a tragic story that eventually made the image feel almost sinister. According to her, in May 2015, a young man around 25 years old died after falling from a bridge across the road from where the photograph was taken. His body was discovered early the next morning by joggers. That is why, when she looked at the picture again, her attention focused on the background. In the distance, there appears to be a figure. Because of the distance and the image quality, it is blurry, but it resembles the silhouette of someone watching, or something that simply looks human. The longer the image is examined, the stronger the feeling becomes that it is not just a random shadow or a camera error, but that someone somehow appeared at the edge of the frame when no one should have been there. What do you think was captured in the distance? Share your theory in the comments. This photograph was taken at night on the grounds of an abandoned building, where the silence feels almost tangible. Only after the picture was taken did the photographer notice a detail that had escaped attention at the moment the shutter was pressed. Deep in the forest, among the dark silhouettes of the trees, a strange figure can be seen. Inside the red circle, there appears to be the outline of a person, motionless, standing far too clearly in a place where no one should be, as if someone were simply watching from the darkness, unwilling to be noticed. What do you think was standing there? Write your opinion in the comments. This photograph was taken last October on the grounds of a hotel and continues to trouble those who have seen it. Since then, some people have felt that the image captured something impossible to explain, a silhouette resembling a ghost that seems to be watching. At the time, the photographer paid no attention to the details. Only later, while reviewing the picture, was the strange figure noticed. Ever since then, the place has remained on the photographer's mind, and the urge to return to that hotel has only grown stronger. What do you think was captured there? Write your thoughts in the comments. This photograph was taken at around 2 a.m. While checking the security camera monitor as he waited for visitors, the owner suddenly noticed a mysterious figure. Unable to believe what he was seeing, he managed to capture only a single image. A few seconds later, the silhouette slowly began to distort, as if collapsing into itself, before disappearing completely right on the screen. The photographer is convinced that he witnessed a full-bodied ghost. Whether the camera captured an unexplained phenomenon, a trick of the light, or something supernatural that night is left for everyone to decide. What do you think it was? Let everyone know in the comments. A young woman took this photograph at a popular romantic spot where couples often come to take pictures together. Later, while looking through the image, she noticed a strange detail. Directly behind her, a pair of legs can be clearly seen, even though there is no person in the photograph they could belong to. The author of the post suggested that it might be the ghost of someone who once visited the place with a loved one. Perhaps, after a heartbreaking separation, those unfinished feelings kept the spirit tied to that location forever. She also added that she is not afraid of any curse. According to her, ghosts do not bother those who, like them, are alone. What do you think appeared in this photo? Share your thoughts in the comments. This old photograph continues to be discussed online. The image shows a young man inside a store, and at first glance it looks like an ordinary, everyday scene. However, a closer look reveals a strange detail near the bottom of the frame, a face that seems almost otherworldly. Its features are blurred, its color appears unnatural, and it gives the impression that it is not entirely human, almost like an image that accidentally emerged from deep within the photograph. According to rumors shared in online discussions, nothing more was ever heard about the young man after the picture was taken, making the story seem even more mysterious. What do you think appears in this photo? Share your theory in the comments. Since the late 1980s, local residents and research institute employees around the Rahio 2 and Calalivo areas have occasionally reported strange phenomena. They spoke of white figures in the forest, the feeling that someone was present near old roads, and even incidents in which something invisible seemed to interact with people and vehicles. Over time, one place was mentioned more often than any other, Marori, a location that no longer appears on maps but is still surrounded by unsettling stories. Near the abandoned stones, the foundation of an old Finnish house where people once gathered around campfires at night, witnesses claimed to see pale silhouettes and ghostly faces appearing in the darkness between the forest and the light. These stories are often remembered whenever people look at this forest photograph. Among the trees, a blurred white figure resembling a human silhouette seems to emerge. Nobody noticed it when the picture was taken. Only later did it appear in the image, almost like a continuation of those old stories that have never been fully explained. What do you think was standing among the trees? Leave your opinion in the comments. A young woman took a selfie while sitting at a table and later noticed a strange detail she had not seen when the picture was taken. In the background, a blurred silhouette resembling a human figure had appeared. According to her, she was completely alone at home at the time and cannot explain what entered the frame. That is exactly what makes the image so unsettling for her, the feeling that someone briefly appeared inside an otherwise empty room. Some believe it is nothing more than a shadow, lighting, or a coincidence involving the background. Others think it could be something far more mysterious, as though the camera captured something the human eye never noticed. What do you think appeared in the background? Tell everyone in the comments. A group of tourists arrived at the Tsepovo monastery and set up camp nearby. That evening, while sitting around the campfire, one of them told the legend of the black monk, a ghost said to haunt the area. The next morning, they walked down the overgrown steps leading to the monastery. Inside, the photographer entered one of the monk's cells and noticed a stone bed with a pillow and a chair beside it. Suddenly, a powerful feeling of unease came over him, as though someone else was inside the room. Later, after returning home and reviewing the photographs, he discovered a strange figure in one of the images that he could not explain. A colleague was equally shocked by what he saw. The photograph, taken in 1998, was later published in newspapers and is still associated with the legend of the Black Monk. What do you think was captured in this photograph? Write your answer in the comments. The owner of this photograph says it was taken in Gettysburg, a place long surrounded by stories of strange phenomena and battlefield ghosts. According to him, a careful look at the image reveals two figures, a dog silhouette and the figure of a child. He and his friends believe they are not simply tricks of the light or random shadows, but something more, as though the camera briefly revealed images that should not have existed there. Gettysburg is already considered one of the most mysterious places in the United States, and photographs like this only add to its legend. Some people see nothing more than an optical illusion, while others believe they are looking at traces left behind by a long-forgotten tragedy. What do you think appears in this photograph? Leave a comment below. In 1929, Mr. Walsh was renovating his home and decided to document the staircase for his project. The only living being in the house with him was his loyal dog, who had been acting strangely restless all day. When the photograph was developed, Mr. Walsh was left in genuine shock. At the top of the staircase landing, a pale white figure stood clearly visible. There were no people and no objects that should have been there. Only him and his dog had been inside the house. Mr. Walsh insisted on the authenticity of the image for the rest of his life. He lived another 14 years and never changed his story, maintaining that the photograph captured something unexplainable that had been present in his home. What do you think was standing on the stairs? Write your thoughts in the comments. The photo shows an old hallway lined with antique tiles, dimly lit by a single flickering light. On the left, a half-open wooden door stands slightly ajar. A human-like figure with a faint, indistinct face peers out from the shadows, almost blending with them. The longer one looks, the stronger the sense that this presence is aware of being seen, silently waiting to be noticed. The atmosphere in the corridor feels heavy, as if the air itself remembers something terrible. What was that figure doing there, standing so still, watching, or waiting? What do you think? Trick of light, or something far more sinister lurking in the dark? The owner of this image, Caitlin Frances Richmond, explained that they had taken part in an overnight tour at the Myrtles plantation. Later, while reviewing the photos, her father-in-law noticed something strange in one of the images. Deep in the frame, standing near the house and partially hidden in shadow, appears to be the figure of a child. The outline is blurry, but the shape resembles a small boy or girl dressed in old-fashioned clothing. This immediately raised questions. Could it possibly be connected to one of the Woodruff children, whose story is often linked to legends surrounding this location? According to the family, no children or other people were standing nearby when the photo was taken. That is exactly why this image became so heavily discussed. Who was standing beside the house? Write your thoughts in the comments. Lisa says this photo was taken at her wedding 40 years ago. At the time, it was not included in the album. Another shot was chosen instead. Years later, after her uncle, who had also been a photographer, passed away, the image was found among old test prints. It quickly became clear that this was no ordinary photograph. In the upper left corner, just behind the heads of her brother-in-law and cousin, a strange figure appears. Its head looks smaller than the others, and something like a thin veil seems to cover it. The photo was taken on a side staircase, making reflections highly unlikely. Lisa has always believed it was a spirit that somehow entered her wedding photo. Whether it is a trick of light, an anomaly, or something supernatural, the image leaves a deeply unsettling impression. Who do you think attended that wedding uninvited? Share your thoughts. During a holiday dinner, friends gathered around a table filled with laughter, conversation, and food. The atmosphere felt completely normal, warm and familiar. But one detail disturbed that sense of comfort. One of the women mentioned that earlier that morning she had seen a white figure quietly pass by. She told the others, but no one recognized the shape or could connect it to anyone they knew. The photo leaves behind an uneasy feeling. The celebration continues, but something unseen seems to linger silently among the guests. What do you think was present at that dinner? Share your opinion in the comments. On March 13, 2025, several women staying temporarily in one house later described a strange and unsettling experience that happened that day. Everything reportedly seemed normal, until one photograph was taken inside an old mansion tied to a local legend known as the White Owl of High Hamptons. At first, nothing unusual stood out in the dim image. But after zooming in, something appeared behind the group that allegedly had not been there during the moment of the photo. A pale human face slowly emerged in the background, blurred and strangely faded, as though dissolving into the darkness itself. According to local stories, the place is connected to Margaret Whitmore, a wealthy woman from the early 20th century who reportedly lived alone in a massive mansion in the Hamptons. Rumors claimed she practiced mysticism and performed rituals, while a white owl living in the attic was believed to be her spiritual protector. After her mysterious disappearance, stories spread of a tall woman dressed in white appearing unexpectedly. Witnesses claimed the sound of an owl could be heard first, followed by the chilling feeling that someone unseen was standing nearby, watching. That is why many people believe this image was not an accident at all, but another glimpse of the same presence said to appear where it is least expected. What do you think was hiding in the photo? Tell everyone below. The author took this photo inside the abandoned attic of an old house. According to him, the attic is difficult to access, completely dark, and had not been disturbed for years. At first, all he noticed in the image was an old broken porcelain object. But later, while looking at the photo again on a screen, he saw something strange begin to stand out. In the darkness, what appears to be a female figure starts to emerge. A face, a hand, and the outline of a body dressed in long clothing. The shape seems to form gradually the longer someone looks at it, almost as if it was hidden there the entire time. Since that moment, he says he no longer goes into the attic. The experience left him too unsettled and genuinely afraid. What was hiding in that attic? Write your thoughts in the comments. This photo was taken in a bar in the United Kingdom while staff were preparing to celebrate St. George's Day. At the time, no one noticed anything unusual. Everything seemed routine. But later, while reviewing the image, staff spotted a strange face appearing between two employees. The face looks out of place, watching, yet belonging to no one present. No one could explain its appearance then, and it remains unexplained to this day. Who do you think was looking from between them? Share your thoughts. A couple visited a ship famous for its haunted reputation to celebrate a birthday. They took several photos and videos, none remarkable, except one. Inside the Winston Churchill Lounge, deep in the back of the ship, the wife snapped a picture while her husband stood a few feet away. They were alone. Moments later, she gasped. In the image, a dark anomaly appeared, faint but unmistakable. The couple swears there was no one there. The guide later told them that passengers have long reported seeing figures appear in mirrors or reflected surfaces in that lounge. Was it a trick of the camera, or one of the ship's lost souls still wandering the decks? This photograph is more than 10 years old, yet the photographer and his sister still return to it again and again. The picture shows a young woman standing inside her home, completely unaware that something strange might appear in the frame. At that moment, she was alone, and there was no one standing behind her. Some time later, a disturbing detail was noticed. Over the girl's left shoulder appears what looks like a terrifying face or a human-like figure. The dark silhouette seems to be peeking out from behind her while staring directly into the camera. The photographer insists that no one else was nearby when the picture was taken, and that the mysterious figure exists only in the photograph. Some believe it could simply be a trick of light and shadows, while others are convinced the image captured something that cannot be explained. What do you see? Let everyone know in the comments. In 2014, Claire Patterson visited a movie theater in Sutton Coldfield, Birmingham, with family. She simply wanted to preserve a memory of the outing, but later, while looking back through the photos, she noticed a frightening detail. A mysterious human-like silhouette appears beside the family in the picture. Claire claims that they were alone when the photograph was taken and that no one was nearby who could have ended up in the frame. She said nothing unusual happened during the visit to the theater. Only later did the image reveal what she now calls a ghostly guest. Some people believe it was nothing more than lighting, a reflection, or coincidence. Others are convinced the camera captured something unexplainable. What do you think this figure was? Tell everyone in the comments. This photograph was taken with an ordinary digital camera during a gathering of friends. At the time, no one noticed anything unusual. Much later, while reviewing the picture, strange details were discovered. On the right side appears what looks like a winged figure resembling an angel, while on the left is the figure of a small child who, according to the photographer, was never there. Was it only a coincidence, or did the camera really capture something unexplained? What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. Sometimes the strangest details don't appear until years later. The photographer was looking back through pictures from a tour that took place on July 11th when one image suddenly stood out. Something seemed to be there, or was someone actually standing in the frame? After the photo was shared, many people noticed a mysterious silhouette that looked like a person no one had seen during the tour. The most surprising part is that, according to the photographer, nothing unusual happened that day. The strange figure was discovered only while reviewing the pictures later. Was it a random shadow, an optical illusion, or an unknown person no one noticed at the time? What do you think? Let everyone know in the comments. This photo was taken by a woman named Amy. According to her, it was captured near the Logan Mansion in downtown Shreveport, Louisiana, close to an old cemetery. She claimed that immediately after taking the picture, she was overcome with a strong feeling of nausea. On the right side of the image, there appears to be a ghostly silhouette resembling a human figure. Amy is convinced that the camera captured something that came from the nearby cemetery. What do you think this was? Let everyone know in the comments. The owner said the photograph had been given to him by his mother. It shows his grandmother and her siblings as children. The portrait dates back to the 1890s. Despite its age, the image is remarkably well preserved. The only visible damage is a crack in the surface in the upper right corner. Otherwise, it has survived time almost untouched. His mother always had a strange, conflicted feeling about this photograph. She loved it, yet something about it disturbed her. Upon careful inspection, it seems that to the right of the children stands a dark, eerie figure. It blends into the background, but once seen, it is impossible to ignore. The shape appears too defined to be random. Was it merely an optical illusion created by age and damage? Or was someone unseen standing close beside them more than a century ago? Meet Boyd Bushman, a former lead engineer who claimed to have worked at the secretive Area 51 facility. Shortly before his death, he released a series of photographs and shared stories he said he had gathered between 1947 and the 1960s. Bushman claimed that the being shown in the photos was a real entity from another star system. According to him, it stood around 4 feet tall and had reptilian features. He alleged that these beings not only contacted humans but also demonstrated how their craft operated. Bushman further claimed that since the 1940s, humanity has secretly been reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology. He even suggested that many modern UFO sightings are no longer alien in origin, but rather the result of classified human projects. Truth or fabrication? Bushman took the answer with him. What do you believe? At first glance, it appears to be a normal school photograph. Children stand together, smiling for the camera. But one parent noticed something strange. Behind the children stands a figure with a deeply unsettling gaze. It is clearly not one of the classmates, yet it stands close, as if it wanted to be part of the group. Many who have seen the image claim the figure appears to be smirking, a subtle, almost mocking expression that creates an eerie and uncomfortable feeling. Who was standing behind those children? The man explained that he photographed a gift to send to his girlfriend, who had recently given it to him. It was meant to be a simple, thoughtful message. Only after sending the photo did he notice something strange. Behind the shelf, there seemed to be something extra, something that did not belong. When the image was enlarged, the outlines became disturbingly clear. The shape resembled a face, partially hidden, peering from behind the shelf. The most unsettling part is this: at that moment, he was completely alone at home. No one else was there. No sounds. No movement. A coincidence? A trick of light and shadow? Or did the camera capture something that should not have been inside that room? What do you think? This photograph was taken by the author's friend several years ago during an ordinary gathering. At first glance, it looked like a normal group picture, but later the background attracted attention. In the distance, a human silhouette can be seen that resembles someone wearing an old military uniform, as if a soldier were standing apart from everyone else. In his hands, there appears to be an object resembling a musket or another long firearm. Because of the blur, lighting, and distance, the figure is unclear, yet distinct enough to make some people feel that it does not belong in the scene, as though it comes from another time. What do you think this figure could be? Let everyone know in the comments. The story is told by a couple who asked a stranger to take their picture using a Polaroid camera. The photograph was taken under normal conditions, and according to them, nobody else was standing nearby at the time. A few minutes later, the photograph developed. At first everything looked normal. The two of them could clearly be seen on the left side of the picture. Then they noticed something strange on the right. Despite the blur and the limitations of the Polaroid format, the image appears to show an unclear shape resembling a third figure, as though someone was standing beside them, or even slightly in front of them. The discovery left them shocked and unsettled because they are certain nobody else was there when the picture was taken. Who do you think the third figure could be? Write your thoughts in the comments. The author's mother's goddaughter spoke about the strange feelings she experiences inside her apartment. According to her, she often feels as though someone is nearby, even when she is alone. Sometimes she catches sight of a dark figure out of the corner of her eye that seems to disappear whenever she turns toward it. One incident disturbed her more than anything else. In one photograph taken inside the apartment, a dark silhouette appears behind her. The image left her feeling uneasy and strengthened her belief that someone, or something, might also be inside the home. What do you think appears behind her? Share your thoughts in the comments. For a long time, this photograph was shared across the internet with the caption, "The creepiest school photo in Japan." At first glance, it looks like an ordinary picture of Japanese schoolgirls. Nothing seems unusual until the background is examined more closely. When the image is enlarged, a strange figure begins to appear among the trees. A disturbing face, blurred and distorted, looks as though someone is standing there, silently watching the students. Many people feel it is more than just a trick of the light, that someone who should not be there appears in the photograph. That was when the image went viral. According to the story, it was an ordinary school trip. The students took a souvenir photo without realizing that someone else was standing beside them. Later, an eerie version of the story appeared, claiming that the figure was their teacher, who had passed away shortly before the class graduated. People say she had desperately wanted to stay with her students until the end of their school years, and even after her death, she somehow appeared in their final group photograph, as if to say goodbye. What do you think was captured in this image? Let everyone know in the comments. This is a well-known photograph online, often presented as an image of the ghost of Michael Jackson. The picture went viral shortly after the singer's death in 2009. The image first appeared during a CNN report, reportedly filmed inside Michael Jackson's former home at the Neverland Ranch. Viewers claimed that in the background, standing in a doorway, a silhouette resembling the pop icon could be seen. The shape appeared thin, upright, and eerily familiar. Some people believe the image is authentic. Others dismiss it as a hoax or a coincidence of light and shadow. However, fans widely shared the photo as proof that Michael Jackson was still present, not alive, but lingering as a spirit. Was this a visual illusion, or something more? What do you believe this image shows? This photograph was taken in the early 1990s in York, England. A young woman stood leaning against a wall near the towering York Minster Cathedral. At the time, the photo seemed completely normal, but once it was developed, she felt true shock. Hovering above her head was a strange face, pale, hollow, and resembling a skull. It did not match any person nearby, nor could it be explained by shadows or background details. Since then, the image has stayed with her. She has never been able to forget that disturbing shape or answer the question that still follows her. What do you think appeared above her? This image was captured by a motion-activated security camera outside a house in South Yorkshire, United Kingdom. In the photograph, a blurry figure of a young girl can be faintly seen, as if walking alone down an empty street. The scene feels unnatural, silent, and deeply unsettling. Some believe the figure is nothing more than a camera error or light distortion. However, local residents claim that strange occurrences have been reported in that area for years. Is this just a technical mistake, or something far more disturbing? The owner of this photo said it was taken in October 2005 during a tour of the famous Winchester House. The image was captured in a garden that was believed to have been one of Sarah Winchester's favorite places, a part of the estate she personally cared for. One unusual detail stands out in the photograph. In the upper right corner, a rainbow-like light effect appears. Normally, such an effect would be caused by moisture in the air. But that day there was no rain, no fog, and no visible water in the environment. The strange glow remains unexplained. Was it simply a camera artifact, or something far more mysterious connected to the house's history? At first glance, it looks like an ordinary photo of a couple, but careful viewers noticed something disturbing. In the background, behind their backs, a distorted face emerges. Its mouth is wide open in a silent scream, and its expression seems filled with pain or rage. The image spread quickly across the internet, sparking heated debate. Some believe it is nothing more than light and shadow. Others are convinced it is something otherworldly that accidentally slipped into the frame. What do you think was captured in this photo? While sorting through old family photographs, a woman's brother came across a picture taken back in the 1970s. When examined closely, a strange face can be seen in the left corner of the image, distorted, unnatural, as if watching everything that was happening. The woman pictured in the photo admitted that she had never noticed this face before. Now the image refuses to leave her thoughts. It feels as though something from the past is still watching her, even decades later. What do you think this face is? Write your thoughts in the comments. This photograph was taken during a ghost hunting tour. A woman was sitting inside a cafe when the picture was taken. Later, when reviewing the image, a ghostly face could be clearly seen below her, near the lower part of the frame. The question remains unanswered. Were the tour organizers simply trying to scare the participants, or did the camera truly capture something supernatural? What do you think this face belongs to? Share your thoughts. In 1971, a 4-year-old girl stayed with her grandmother while her mother was in the hospital after a tragic miscarriage. That day, the grandmother decided to take a photo using an old Polaroid camera, the kind that cannot create double exposures. The photo shows the child and a dog, but deep in the background, something strange appears. A blurred figure, standing in the shadows. The family is certain it is not a film defect. Years later, the girl remembers that moment with a deep sense of emotion. She believes the camera captured the presence of her unborn brother, the one who was meant to be there, but remained only on the edge of visibility. The photograph became part of the family's story, and every time they look at it, they feel that someone is still close by. Who do you think was captured in the photo? This photograph was taken around 1910 in Felly Priory, Nottinghamshire. At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary staircase, softly lit by daylight. But upon closer inspection, a figure can be seen standing on the upper landing. It is faint, semi-transparent, almost as if made of mist. The figure is completely still, its gaze directed downward, toward a place where something unexplained may have once occurred. Could this be genuine evidence of something beyond our understanding, or simply light and imagination at work? What do you think this figure is? This photo was taken shortly before a wedding. Only 2 people were in the room at the time, and both were standing behind the camera. Nothing seemed unusual in the moment, but a closer look tells a different story. The image captured something that cannot be easily explained. A figure or silhouette appears in the frame as if it came from nowhere, yet no one can determine what it is. A coincidence, a camera glitch, or something not meant to be seen. Some moments in life are frozen by a camera, yet remain forever beyond explanation. This photo is one of them. What do you think appeared in this room? Write in the comments. The owner of this photograph was stunned by what his camera captured. He emphasizes that the location is private property, securely fenced. No animals roam there, and strangers cannot enter. Yet the image clearly shows a strange figure. Its form reminds neither of a person nor an animal. Instead, something faint and almost transparent, like a presence that should not have been visible at all. What do you think appeared on that property? Write in the comments.
A family was enjoying lunch at the Islamorada Fish Company restaurant in Alabama. 13 people gathered around a long table, adults chatting, children laughing. One photo was taken of a little girl named Hayden, who has Down syndrome. She was turning her head as the picture was taken, creating a small blur. But when they looked closer, everyone fell silent. Behind Hayden's head, a man's faint silhouette appeared. His face was blurred, but his outline was clear. No one had been standing there. No flash, no reflections, no tricks of light. What do you think? Angel, ghost, or something unexplained?
Sometime after their grandfather passed away, strange things reportedly began happening inside the house, things the family still struggles to explain. He had lived there for nearly his entire life, around 80 years. During the last 10 years, he had been confined to bed and rarely left his bedroom. That was also where he died. While alive, he often repeated that he would stay here forever, as if he could never fully leave the home behind. Then one day, in the same bedroom where he spent his final years, a shape slowly appeared, a figure eerily resembling someone lying on the edge of the bed. The figure looked motionless, heavy, frozen in the same position he had spent years in. Those who saw it felt something deeply unsettling, as though it was more than a shadow or trick of light, like one final appearance from someone who had never truly left. What do you think this was? Write in the comments. Nearly 2 years have passed since these photos were taken, but the family still remembers them with unease. That day, the author's sister and her fiancé visited their parents' home with the kids. They spent hours clearing weeds and overgrowth in the backyard, working until evening. She took photos to document the progress and her fiancé working near a picnic table. The yard is large and fenced. Later, after everyone left, she reviewed the images and noticed something terrifying. She immediately called her sister and mother on FaceTime. In both photos, her fiancé can be seen bending over near the table, but beside him appears something the family still cannot explain. What do you think was standing in that backyard? Share your thoughts in the comments. Noel took this photograph inside a historic building in downtown New Bern, North Carolina. The goal was simply to preserve the atmosphere of the old location, with no idea that the image would later reveal a strange detail. Later, the photograph was converted to black and white and cropped to get a closer look at one particular area. That was when many people noticed a mysterious figure, as if someone else had been standing inside the building. Noel insists that the photograph was personally taken and that nothing was added or edited into the image. Could the camera have captured something that wasn't visible at the time? What do you think? Let everyone know in the comments. The person who took this photograph said it was supposed to be nothing more than a normal picture of two girls. It wasn't until later that a strange detail caught attention. Behind them stood a semi-transparent human figure that, according to the photographer, simply wasn't there when the photo was taken. Many people didn't believe the story, but the photographer remains convinced that the camera accidentally captured a real ghost. The photographer insists the truth is known and believes this single image changed the way unexplained phenomena are viewed forever. What do you think appeared in this photo? Share your thoughts in the comments. This photograph was taken on a Friday evening at Fort Mifflin in Pennsylvania, a place long believed to be one of the most haunted locations in the United States. Nothing unusual was noticed while the picture was being taken. However, when the photos were reviewed later, a distinct dark figure appeared in the image. According to the photographer, nothing like that was present at the time. Was it just an ordinary shadow, or something that cannot be explained? What do you think? Let everyone know in the comments. The man took this photograph during the daytime, fully confident that no one else was inside the house. What made the situation truly terrifying was the fact that it was his own home, and at the moment the photo was taken, he was standing only a few meters away from where a silhouette later appeared in the image. In the days that followed, he felt that something had changed. Strange sounds echoed at night. The constant sensation of being watched grew stronger. Sudden waves of cold air appeared without explanation. Eventually, he could no longer stay in the house alone. The property was put up for sale, but rumors about the photograph, and about something unseen inside the house, spread quickly throughout the area. To this day, no one has bought the house. It remains empty, and neighbors avoid walking past it. What do you think was sharing that house with him? At at first glance, this is just a photograph of an ordinary window. But those interested in the paranormal believe something far more disturbing hides behind the glass. According to local stories, a man once lived in this building and disappeared without a trace. He was never found. It is believed that his spirit became bound to the place, trapped between worlds. Witnesses claim he still tries to escape, but can only reveal himself through reflections. Is this just reflection, or something trying to be seen? Share your thoughts. This photograph was taken many years ago with an old digital camera. A young man was photographing his mother inside the house where the family lived at the time. Years later, while looking through old pictures, they noticed a silhouette on the right side of the image that resembled a ghostly figure. The most unsettling part was that similar stories had been told long before the photograph was discovered. Several people who had lived in the house independently claimed they had occasionally seen a short figure near the bathroom. At the time, those stories were not taken seriously, but after the strange silhouette was found in the photograph, they suddenly seemed much more believable. What do you think appears in this photo? Share your opinion in the comments. This photograph was taken in 1976 when the girl was about 5 years old. The picture was taken by her cousin in a seaside town in Scotland where the family was vacationing. The girl was on a swing while her cousin was pushing her. There was a campground nearby, and not far away stood a cemetery next to the park. Years later, while looking at the old photograph, some people felt there was something unusual about it. In the background, it appears as though another figure is standing behind the swing, almost as if someone else is helping push it. What do you think is behind the swing? Write your thoughts in the comments. This photograph was taken at night while a young man was taking a picture of himself near a window inside his home. At the time, he noticed nothing unusual and was certain he was completely alone. Only later, while reviewing the photos, did he notice a strange face clearly visible in the dark window directly behind him. According to the author, there was nobody outside the window at the moment the picture was taken, and he saw nothing suspicious. After the image was posted online, it quickly went viral. Some people are convinced the camera accidentally captured a ghost, while others believe it is simply a reflection or a trick of the light. What actually appeared in the photograph that night remains a mystery. What do you think it was? Let everyone know in the comments. This photograph was taken by a tourist who decided to photograph a lonely lighthouse during a storm. At the moment the picture was taken, nothing unusual was noticed. However, later, while examining the image, the photographer was horrified. At the very top of the lighthouse, behind the railing, the silhouette of a person could clearly be seen. The problem is that the lighthouse was closed to visitors that day, and reaching the platform without permission was impossible. Local residents said that many years ago a lighthouse keeper died near this lighthouse while trying to save a ship during a violent storm. Since then, some people claim that a solitary figure occasionally appears at the top, silently staring out at the sea before disappearing without a trace. What do you think was standing on the lighthouse? Write your theory in the comments. This photograph was taken at the home of a friend named Brenna, where a group of friends was relaxing and spending time in the hot tub. During the evening, they decided to take a few pictures with a digital camera. Later, while reviewing the photos, they noticed something strange. Behind the group, a mysterious figure could be clearly seen, one that nobody had noticed at the moment the picture was taken. According to the author, the photograph was taken in Oregon on a summer day. What do you think appeared in this photo? Share your thoughts in the comments. This photograph was taken at 1:53 a.m. by a motion-activated camera at a construction site in Birmingham. The camera captured a pale figure in a long dress that appeared to glide between stacks of construction materials. After the alarm was triggered, a security guard thoroughly searched the area but found no signs of intruders or forced entry. What exactly the camera captured that night remains a mystery. What do you think it was? Let everyone know in the comments. A woman sat on her couch and decided to take a few selfies with her dog. The photos seemed calm and ordinary at first glance, but while scrolling through them, one image stopped her cold. In that single frame, a hand rests on her shoulder. It was not her own, and no one else was in the house. The hand appears semi-transparent, unnatural, with fingers slightly bent, as if someone was standing behind her and barely making contact. She later admitted that panic set in immediately. She was completely alone when the photo was taken. Whose hand do you think touched her shoulder? A man shared a photograph that still troubles him to this day. The picture shows his young granddaughter calmly cutting vegetables in the kitchen, completely unaware of anything unusual. But in the shadows to the right, a faint silhouette can be seen, a figure strikingly similar to his late wife. The shape appears to lean slightly toward the child, as though watching her with the same care and tenderness she once showed in life. The man believes that at that moment, his granddaughter was not alone. He is convinced the figure represents her grandmother, standing silently as a guardian. The longer he studies the image, the stronger that belief becomes. Was this a trick of shadow, or a loving presence watching over her? Three years ago, Hannah Butler took a photograph during a ghost walk along Hessel foreshore in East Riding of Yorkshire. At the time, it seemed like an ordinary snapshot. Only later did something unsettling reveal itself. In the image, a dark-haired girl dressed in white can be seen pressed closely against a tree. No one else present that night noticed a child there. No children were reported nearby. The girl appeared only in the photograph. Hannah now lives many miles away in Kent, but she says the girl has never truly left her. She appears in recurring dreams and lingers in Hannah's thoughts, returning again and again without explanation. The image gives the impression not of menace, but of quiet longing, as if the figure was searching for connection, for companionship. Some believe it could be the spirit of a lonely orphan, unwilling to remain unseen. What do you think was captured in that moment? Around 20 years ago, a woman took a casual photo of her husband and son peacefully playing a video game together. It was meant to be an ordinary family memory, nothing more. But something in the image never made sense. On the left side of the frame, a dense, dark figure appears, sharply outlined and seemingly standing close to them. It does not blend into the room and does not resemble any object, reflection, or shadow. No similar shape appeared in any other photograph taken that day. There was nothing in the room that could explain its presence. Since then, the family has questioned what may have entered the frame for a single instant, a camera error, a trick of light, or something else entirely. What do you think was standing there? This photograph was taken inside a house during a housewarming celebration. After developing the image, the homeowner noticed something terrifying on the right side, a distorted, eerie face staring outward. Strange things had already been happening in the house, including unsettling events linked to the family who lived there before. The image leaves the impression that something else may be living there too, unseen, but aware. What do you think is sharing that home? Write your thoughts below. The young man explained that the photo shows his maternal great-grandmother standing happily beside his cousin Stan, who was still a child at the time. At first glance, the image looks like a warm family memory, but when the photograph was printed, the young man noticed something unsettling in the background. Not wanting to frighten his mother, he kept silent. On the right side of the image, a strange anomaly is visible, something that does not resemble a human figure. It could be a lighting illusion or a visual distortion, or perhaps something else entirely. What do you think appeared in the background? A woman received a motion alert from her security camera and couldn't believe what she saw. On the footage, a white figure appeared on the staircase, silently gliding through the dim light. The shape was pale, blurry, and unlike anything she had seen before. At first, she assumed it might be a cat or a dog passing by. Then she remembered something crucial: she lives completely alone. The image has haunted her ever since, leaving her to wonder who, or what, was truly inside her home that night. What do you think appeared on the stairs? Share your opinion. This photograph was taken inside a closed restaurant. According to witnesses, the building had been completely empty. Yet when the image was reviewed, a dark silhouette could be seen appearing between stacked boxes. It didn't resemble a normal shadow. The shape looked almost like a person standing there. Employees have sometimes reported hearing strange sounds in the building even when no one was inside. Was the camera capturing a simple illusion, or someone who never truly left? This image was taken inside a normal home. It is not a restaurant or hotel. There was no butler in the house, and no one remembers seeing a man wearing a bow tie that day. Yet in the photograph, a dark figure can be seen standing in the background. The face cannot be clearly distinguished, almost as if the figure was not meant to be recognized. It appears as though someone had entered the room silently, only to leave behind a single image. Who was the man in the bow tie? This photo was taken in 2007 at a wedding. In the image, the woman's husband, who has since passed away, can be seen dancing with her mother. For years, the woman felt that something about the photograph was strange. Eventually, she began to notice a dark figure in the background. It seemed as though the shape was watching them. At times, she even wondered if that mysterious presence had somehow taken her husband away years later. The photograph has never been fully explained. Who was watching them that night? A serious accident occurred at this location on June 15, 2017. The woman involved in the crash died 2 days later. Friends who visited the road took a photo. In the image, a family friend can be seen sitting in the front passenger seat of the car, but something else appears in the back seat. When the image is examined carefully, a faint figure can be seen sitting there, a shape that resembles the woman who later passed away. The figure doesn't look like a normal shadow. It almost seems to be watching. Had she already returned before leaving this world? This photograph was taken about 15 years ago. According to the owner, his brother had taken the picture using a regular camera. Later, while reviewing the image, something strange was noticed behind him. In the background, a pale white anomaly appeared, something that didn't resemble a normal light reflection or camera defect. It almost looked like a ghostly presence standing behind him. Even today, the author cannot explain what appeared in that moment. What do you think it was? The owner of this image says strange things have happened in their home before. But that evening felt different. He was not home. His wife was alone when the dog suddenly began barking wildly and acting terrified. Frightened, she checked the security cameras and took a screenshot of what she saw. The cameras had been installed only recently because of break-ins in the area. Her phone was new too, making it unlikely that an old image could have somehow appeared on the screen. A year and a half earlier, the couple had lost their son. When they looked closely at the screenshot, they noticed what looked like the outline of a face. When compared to a photo of the boy, the resemblance seemed disturbingly close. The owner admits it could be grief shaping what they see, but the feeling from the image refuses to fade. That is why it was shared, in hopes of understanding whether it was just coincidence, or something far more unsettling. What do you think appeared on the camera? Share your thoughts. At first glance, this image simply shows an ordinary room. But the eye is almost immediately drawn to the left side of the frame. At first, it looks like nothing more than shadow and darkness. But the longer someone stares, the stranger it begins to feel. In the dim light, the faint shape of what looks like a little girl seems to appear. The figure is not fully clear, almost as if it does not completely belong to the space around it. Her outline is soft and blurred, yet distinct enough that it feels impossible to ignore. There is an eerie sense that she is standing apart from the rest of the room, silently observing. Even if explained away as lighting or random shadows, the feeling of presence remains, as though something appeared there for only a moment and was accidentally captured. Do you see the figure too? Write your thoughts in the comments.
This photograph was taken in 1987 using a 35mm camera, purely by chance, on the anniversary of a tragic death. The photographer didn't know the story of Sue Howard Hardy, a woman who died nearly a century earlier, shortly after her child was stillborn. He wasn't seeking ghosts. He simply captured a picture of an old grave. But when the film was developed, a faint, translucent figure of a woman appeared near the tomb. She seemed to be mourning, head bowed, hands clasped. It was taken exactly 99 years after her death. Experts examined the photo and confirmed it hadn't been altered. Many believe it shows Sue herself, still grieving the child she never got to hold. What do you think? Coincidence, or proof that love and sorrow never fade?
An employee of Langley Castle in Northumberland says this photo was taken by a guest staying at the castle. It shows a very tall, thin figure, not shaped like an ordinary person. Searching for answers, the photo was shared to hear what others think. Whatever it may be, the image sparks curiosity and carries the heavy sense of mystery that seems to cling to old stone walls and historic places. What do you think was standing in the castle? Write your thoughts. It was the night before Halloween. The children stood by the window, watching the street as their grandfather took a picture to capture the moment. Later, when he looked closely, he saw it, a dark figure standing right beside the kids. Its face was shadowed, its eyes faintly glowing. The shape seemed to blend into the night outside, yet its outline was distinct enough to send chills through anyone who looked. Some say it was a reflection, others believe it was something else. Something that decided to appear on that thin night between the living and the dead. Was it just a trick of light, or had the spirits truly crossed over that evening? This story came from a subscriber. It was December 30th when the power suddenly went out near the elevators. Wanting to show his friends just how dark the area had become, he decided to take a photo. At the time, his only thought was simple: It's so dark in here, this would make a crazy picture. But after looking at the image, he noticed something unexpected. A strange shape appeared in the darkness. He said he was genuinely shocked, and even a little scared, when he saw it. According to him, it could not have been light or a reflection. He was certain of that. Recently, after looking at the photo again, he noticed something even stranger. A shadow. Not just darkness, but what he describes as the shadow of a figure. He insists it could not have been another person, because he would have noticed someone standing there. So what was caught in that hallway? Write your thoughts in the comments.
S. Palmer, fascinated by stories of spirits, once set out to photograph proof of the supernatural. Accompanied by an army officer, he spent the night inside a house known for its hauntings. For hours, nothing happened. No footsteps, no whispers, no movement. Then, around 2:45 a.m., a strange light appeared in one of the rooms. Palmer lifted his camera and took a single photo using the flash. When the film was developed, his hands began to shake. A human figure stood in the glow, clear and undeniable. There had been no one in that room. No one living, at least. Was it a trick of light, or had Palmer captured someone who never left the house? What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
A father took a photo of his daughter during a visit to Tamworth Castle in the English county of Staffordshire. At first glance, the picture looked like an ordinary family photo. But later, people noticed two strange figures in the background, vaguely resembling human silhouettes. The image quickly caught the attention of paranormal enthusiasts because the castle has long been surrounded by ghost stories. According to local legends, the spirit of a 9th century nun is said to wander the halls, while visitors have reported mysterious footsteps, shadowy figures, and unexplained shapes moving through the ancient corridors. Many believe the camera accidentally captured something supernatural. What do you think was caught in the background? Tell everyone in the comments. These photos belong to Jolene Hall. According to her, they were taken and made during a bachelorette party in Edinburgh. Her friends had planned a surprise ghost tour through the city, which led the group into the famous underground vaults. While the guide spoke about the dark history of the place, one of the women took photos. Behind the group stood an American couple, a woman in a cap and a man slightly behind her. Nothing seemed strange at the time. But later, while reviewing the pictures, Jolene noticed something disturbing. The man's face appeared to change from shot to shot, and around him strange, distorted faces seemed to form. Some of this was noticed in person. His expression changed. During the tour he had been talkative, but as they left the vaults, he suddenly went silent. So abruptly that one of the friends asked if he was okay. He responded shortly and coldly, "I'm fine." These images are screenshots from the originals. What was discovered later left everyone deeply uneasy, with the strong feeling that something more than a simple tour had taken place in those underground chambers. This photograph was taken deep in a forest late at night. The darkness surrounding the scene feels almost alive. At first, nothing unusual can be seen in the image. But slowly, within the darkness, something disturbing begins to emerge. A strange shape appears, something that doesn't resemble any known animal or human form. It looks almost unnatural, as if it belongs to something from outside the world we know. The figure seems to blend into the darkness while still remaining present. It creates the chilling impression that something was watching from the forest that night. What could be hiding in that darkness? This photograph has no known backstory. It surfaced on social media and quickly became the subject of heated discussion. At first glance, it appears to show an ordinary kitchen. Nothing seems out of place. But if attention is drawn to the upper left corner of the image, something strange becomes noticeable. Many believe they see a face there, pale, faint, and ghostly. Is it truly a spectral presence, or is it simply the mind filling in the gaps? The lack of explanation makes the image even more disturbing. What do you see in that corner? The photograph shows a young girl named Mia sitting on an old tank in a park in Florissant, Missouri. Her mother, Angela, stands nearby, watching her daughter. It seems like an ordinary family outing in a park where children play every day. But the image is far from simple. Behind Angela, a blurred and frightened-looking male silhouette appears. He is staring directly at the camera, as if he has just noticed the child on the tank. His expression shows no anger, only surprise and quiet sorrow, as though he cannot believe children are laughing here again. His clothing resembles a military uniform, a jacket and camouflage pants. The image creates a chilling impression that this may be the ghost of a soldier who never returned home, accidentally captured in a family photograph. Who do you think this figure is? Write your thoughts below. The father of the family passed away 11 years ago after battling ALS. Sometime later, his cousin moved into the house. One night, while walking down a dark hallway, she suddenly felt that someone else was there. Frightened, she turned on her phone camera to light the way and search for the light switch. When the light came on, no one was nearby. But when she looked at her phone screen, she froze. Sitting clearly in an armchair was a man who looked exactly like the deceased homeowner. The first photo shows the father while he was alive. The second image was taken after his death, when no one else was in the house. Who do you think was sitting in that chair? This photograph frequently appears on websites dedicated to paranormal phenomena. It gained attention due to a mysterious semi-transparent figure visible behind a woman sitting in a cafe. The image was shared without any explanation. No name, no date, no location. This lack of information only increased interest and speculation among paranormal enthusiasts. According to some experts, the figure in the background could be a ghost that accidentally entered the frame. Some believe it may be the spirit of a former cafe visitor who died under tragic circumstances, now appearing near the window in photographs. Others insist it is merely an optical illusion or reflection. Yet even skeptics admit the image looks unusual and raises uncomfortable questions. Over time, the photo became one of the most discussed examples in collections of best ghost photographs. Despite the absence of confirmed details, it continues to unsettle viewers, a reminder that even ordinary places may hide something unexplained. What do you think was captured in this cafe? Write your thoughts below. This Polaroid was taken during an ordinary family evening. A father decided to take a picture with his son as a keepsake, and at that moment, they were alone in the room. When the photograph developed, the family noticed something that nobody had seen during the picture. Deep in the room, directly behind them, stood a tall figure resembling either an old doll or a woman dressed in dark clothing. The homeowners insisted that part of the room had been empty and that the strange figure appeared only in the photograph. After the image was shared online, opinions were divided. Some believed it was a ghost, while others suggested the camera had accidentally captured a mannequin or a large doll standing in the corner. But one question has never been answered. Why did nobody notice the figure at the moment the photograph was taken? What do you think it was? Leave a comment below. In 2013, During a night shift at the Pilar fire station, a photograph was taken that later sparked widespread debate and concern. The image shows one of the firefighters posing for the camera, while, according to witnesses, the face of a little girl appears in the window behind him, something nobody noticed when the picture was taken. After the photograph was shared, rumors quickly spread. Some claimed that strange events began happening at the station afterward, including sirens going off by themselves and overnight shifts feeling much more unsettling. There is no official confirmation that the image has any paranormal explanation, but it continues to circulate online as one of Pilar's local mystery stories. What do you think appears in the window? Let everyone know in the comments. One evening, the manager of a heavily secured facility noticed something disturbing. In a window near a doorway, a ghostly form appeared to manifest, faint but unmistakable. Overcome with fear, he quickly took a photograph. Later, he shared the image on social media, where it immediately sparked intense debate. Some viewers believe the photo clearly shows something supernatural. Others insist it is nothing more than light reflection. One thing is certain, the experience left the manager deeply shaken and unable to forget what he saw. What do you think appeared in the window? Share your opinion. Steph Bailey shared a photograph titled, "The Staircase in My Grandmother and Uncle's Old House." The image was taken by her uncle inside that same home. When her younger cousin was just a baby, he would often crawl to the bottom of the staircase. He showed unusual curiosity and would appear excited, as if interacting with someone unseen. Wanting to capture the moment, her uncle took a photo. When the image was reviewed later, something unexpected appeared, a vague figure on the stairs, resembling the outline of a child. What makes the photo even more unsettling is family history. Steph's grandmother once lost a child while living in that house. For years, the staircase had always made Steph feel uneasy. After seeing the photograph, that feeling only grew stronger. Could the figure be a spirit from the past? The young woman said this photo was taken at an amusement park in Ohio during a ride on a terrifying roller coaster. At first, everything seemed normal, but when she later looked at the photo, it appeared she was not alone. Behind her, a disturbing face can be seen, one that did not belong to any of her friends riding with her. According to the woman, this was not imagination or fear playing tricks. She believes that someone, or something, was truly there with her. Who do you think appeared behind her? The next photo was taken by a man who encountered something deeply unsettling inside his own bathroom. In the image, above the toilet, a floating face is clearly visible, suspended in the air, as if watching him. The expression appears indistinct, but unmistakably human. Many online users were quick to explain it away as a trick of light or reflections from nearby surfaces. However, the man insists this was no illusion. According to him, at the exact moment the photo was taken, the room suddenly grew unnaturally cold, and the air felt heavy, pressing down on his chest. The experience left him shaken long after the image was captured. Was this just light and shadow, or something watching from the darkness? What do you think it was? A social media user shared a photograph that he claims captured a ghost. In the image, a semi-transparent figure can be seen standing next to a car in an empty backyard late at night. The yard was quiet, with no people around and no visible movement at the time the photo was taken. Some viewers believe this could be nothing more than a camera glitch or a lighting error. Others are convinced that the image shows something far more disturbing, a presence that should not have been there. Is this simply a technical flaw, Or are we looking at something truly paranormal? This event took place at Willoit Cemetery in Ohio. Participants had gathered to dedicate a new gravestone, and historical reenactors were present. 2 of them posed for a photograph. But in the background, through an open window of an empty building, something unexpected appeared. A faint figure resembling a woman can be seen sitting near the window, watching. The image was later slightly cropped and contrast adjusted, but no other changes were made. The photo eventually became known as the Willoit Ghost. Who was the woman in the window? This photo was taken at a small gathering attended by only 3 people. Everyone present clearly remembers that there was no bald man among them. However, the photograph shows something strange, a bald head appearing in the frame as if attached to an invisible body. It doesn't resemble a mannequin or object. It looks disturbingly real. So what exactly appeared in the photograph? A man took this photo while relaxing with friends at a local pub. Later, after sending the image, his app automatically flagged something unusual in the background, a human face. Curious, he went back and checked the photo again. That was when he noticed it. Above his friend's arm, a face-like image appears to emerge. According to him, he never saw anyone standing there at the time. Nothing unusual was happening inside the bar, and he is convinced no person could have been positioned there. What made the story stranger was what happened next. One of the waitresses later told him that unusual events have reportedly been noticed in the establishment before. Because of that, the image quickly became a topic of discussion. Some believe it is nothing more than lighting, reflections, and shadows inside the pub. Others think the camera may have captured a strange visual effect that was impossible to notice in real time. Do you see a face there? Write your thoughts in the comments.
This old photograph depicts Newton D. Baker, the U.S. Secretary of War, with his wife and children. It looks like an ordinary family portrait, until you notice the faint ghostly blur standing behind them. The image was made using a glass negative, a process known for strange chemical reactions that sometimes distorted the photo's surface. Some believe the mysterious figure appeared because of a flaw in the glass. Others say it looks too defined, too human, to be an accident. Was it just a technical error, or something, or someone, who wanted to be remembered alongside the family? What do you think this figure really is?
As a child, one visitor to the famous ship Queen Mary took 2 photos inside what's known as the haunted closet. In both, the same chilling figure appears, a shape standing near a girl, its hand seemingly resting on her neck. Witnesses recall that right after taking the first photo, the child burst into tears, terrified by what they saw. When the second picture was taken, the same shadow appeared again, unmoving, as if posing for the camera. Experts have analyzed the photo for years and found no sign of editing. Crew members claim that this part of the ship is one of its most haunted, tied to unexplained deaths during its service. What was that figure? A reflection, or one of the Queen Mary's restless spirits still lingering in the dark halls? Inside a residential building in Turkey that had long been abandoned and prepared for demolition, one final unsettling story emerged. According to local residents, nearly all families had already moved out, leaving the building completely empty. It was scheduled to be demolished within days. But one day before work was supposed to begin, a neighbor noticed something strange in the window of one apartment. For a brief moment, it looked as though a dark figure was standing inside. A human-like silhouette. Just for a second. Rumors surrounding the building only grew stronger because of an older story tied to the apartment. Locals claimed that a tragedy had once happened there involving the death of a woman. No one has ever confirmed the details, but the story became deeply rooted in neighborhood gossip. So if the building was empty, who was standing in that window? Write your thoughts in the comments.
During a summer trip to Bilbao, Spain, a tourist entered the Cathedral de Santiago and began taking photos of its interior. The light was warm, the air still. Nothing seemed unusual until later, back at the hotel. In the center of one photo, a ghostly figure appeared, the faint image of a man with a beard and solemn eyes, hovering just above the floor. Some said it resembled St. James, the church's patron. Even more curious, a glowing orb floated near the figure's chest, right at the center of the image. Was it a miracle, or a message from something divine, or something else entirely? What do you think was captured in this sacred place?
The young woman was simply taking a picture of her dog sitting by the window. When she reviewed the photo later, she froze. Reflected in the glass was the faint outline of a man hovering just outside, pale, transparent, and clearly not there when the picture was taken. His face is blurred, but his form unmistakable, as though caught between worlds. The woman posted the photo online, desperate for an explanation, but none came. The house was on the second floor, the window locked. Some users claim they see a shadow of a hat or a faint arm reaching toward the glass. Was it the spirit of a lost soul, or something that came too close that night?
In Glasgow, artist Tim Sandys was working late in his basement studio, a place that once served as a hospital. The old pipes rattled, the fluorescent lights flickered and buzzed, their sensors unreliable. It was a dark, stormy night, and the halls were empty. Curious about the flickering lights, he began recording slow-motion footage of the corridor. When reviewing the clips, something caught his attention. In several frames, a small figure appeared, a little girl, standing at the far end of the hallway, peering out from behind a door. Her face was barely visible, her outline faint but distinct. The building's history made it worse. The same hallway once led to the children's ward decades ago. Tim tried to reason it away. Maybe someone's child had wandered downstairs. But the way she stood, still, staring, felt far too unnatural. Was it just coincidence, or did he truly film the ghost of the hospital's past? What do you think?
According to later stories, this image was passed from person to person before finally reaching the storyteller. A friend first shared it, later claiming it originally came from someone working at a children's home. The employee reportedly said the image had been taken during an ordinary group activity. Children were gathered inside during a normal event, and nothing strange stood out at first. But after reviewing the photo, people noticed something unsettling. Among the children in the background appeared the dark face of a child who was supposedly not there that day. The face looked disturbingly wrong. No eyes could be seen, yet it somehow felt as if the figure was staring directly into the camera. Some staff later recalled an old urban legend about children who appear only in photographs, echoes of those who are no longer there, but somehow continue to remain frozen inside images. What do you think was captured in this photo? Write in the comments. This photo was taken during a celebration at a kindergarten in Japan. The children, dressed in costumes and masks, were posing for a cheerful group photo. But what was meant to be a memory of laughter became something much darker. In the upper window behind them, a pale face can be seen, the face of a small boy, expressionless, silently watching the children below. Teachers confirmed that no one was upstairs at the time. Locals whisper that a child once died there decades ago and that his spirit never left. The building has since been renovated, but visitors still report the feeling of eyes on them whenever they pass those windows. This photograph was taken in 2004 on the island of Rhodes, Greece, using a regular film camera during a 7-week trip. At the time, the man's girlfriend had stepped away to get a drink, leaving him briefly alone. He noticed a room lined with massive clay vessels arranged in a semicircle. Each stood nearly 160 centimeters tall, imposing and ancient. He took a photo, and only afterward did a woman working there explain that the vessels were burial urns from centuries before Christ. At first, nothing seemed unusual. But when he later developed more than 300 photos from the trip, he noticed something extraordinary in that image. Shapes resembling faint human forms appeared among the urns, as if lingering presences tied to the past had revealed themselves. For him, the moment became unforgettable, like a silent encounter with history that had never truly left. What do you think appeared among the urns? Write in the comments. This photograph was taken during a nighttime investigation using a night vision camera, which explains the green tint. From what can be discerned, the image appears to show a woman. Experts are unsure whether there is a second figure present. The homeowners where the photo was taken asked that details of the ghost hunt not be disclosed. It is known that the owner is under significant stress, and there are reasons to believe that paranormal activity may indeed be present in the house. What do you think was captured by the night camera? A group of friends were ghost hunting at Melbourne Cemetery. They managed to capture what appears to be a spirit near a recent burial. In the photograph, the ghost seems to be reaching toward the grave, as if trying to take a loved one along, or saying goodbye one final time. What do you think this gesture means? A young woman shared that one day she rescued a tiny kitten that had been abandoned to die in 40-degree frost. Nearby lay its sibling. She did everything she could, but the second kitten did not survive. She buried the lost one and took the remaining sister home, determined to care for her no matter what. She took a few photos of the kitten, turned off the camera, placed it on the floor, and was about to leave the room. Suddenly, there was a clear shutter click. The camera took a photo on its own. When she picked it up and looked at the image, her breath caught. In the frame was a semi-transparent silhouette, the spirit of the kitten she had failed to save. It looked as if it had come back one last time, to say goodbye or to say thank you. The moment was both heartbreaking and terrifying. What do you think appeared in that photo? The photograph shows a man, with the ghost of a woman clearly visible directly behind him, as if watching his every move. Red ghosts are believed to be extremely rare. Unlike ordinary spirits, their appearance almost always causes unease. Some researchers believe the red color is a danger signal, a sign that the spirit is threatening, similar to black ghosts, which are known for their aggressive nature. Others believe red ghosts are more vulnerable beings. They turn red to protect themselves, to scare away intruders, or to warn of their presence. Black ghosts appear more often and always carry a sense of danger and cold. Red ghosts, on the other hand, usually observe from hiding. Their rarity makes their appearance even more disturbing, as if the spirit is not just seeing you, but judging whether you are a threat. Looking at this photo, it feels as though a story lies behind the figure, one best left untouched and only observed from a distance. What do you think this red apparition represents? Share your theory. Two sisters took this photograph in their father's house 15 years ago. While sorting through an old box of photos years later, one of them noticed something disturbing in the background. In the doorway stood a dark figure, possibly female. The sisters did not recognize it at all. Since then, they have never returned to that house. The photo left them with a lingering feeling that something unseen continues to watch over the place. Who do you think stood in the doorway? The owner of the photograph said that such full-bodied manifestations always appear in their images suddenly, without any warning. This time was no exception. The team was simply reviewing photos of a forest area they had been exploring when one image made everyone fall silent. In the photograph, a figure was clearly visible, wrapped in something resembling a long cloak, like a monk standing in the shadows. The shape was so clear and detailed that it felt as though the figure had truly been standing there at that exact moment. The owner emphasized that there was no staging, no hoax, no attempt at deception. Whatever skeptics may think, this was a real photograph of something that had been nearby in the forest. What do you think stood among the trees?
Crap, that's the twist. Like watching someone rob your house and compliment the way he did it.
But why don't they get mad?
They do. For like a week and a half, then somebody posts a cat. A celebrity cheats and everybody changes tracks.
That sounds dumb.
Welcome to the planet. Grown men throw fists over Facebook posts, then call themselves titans. Don't believe a smile just cause it's printed on a screen.
Half these heroes need a writer, half these